Hello everyone, welcome back to another DINOSAURS stream. Today we were planning to just max in stage 1 of speed, but we kind of just did that off stream when we were doing our 4 daily games for the rewards, so that kind of messed up the stream a little bit. Also, don't worry about the dueling stuff in the background. We didn't sign in ahead of time, but because of that, we still can play ranked, right? We still have ranked. I don't know how active the ranked queue is going to be. The alternative is that we just play at dual level max. That's also fine. But, like, we haven't cogged yet, right? So we can still just play ranked to get the rewards from it, which would be more efficient, I suppose. But beyond that, we're also going to be, and I guess first, we're going to be looking at the new cards that we know are coming out, the new characters that we know are coming out, and trying to put together a potential box and kind of decide what we think might be going into it. So it's going to be a bit of a shot in the dark, because usually we'd wait until like we got skills, and then that gives us a lot of direction for our predictions. Beyond that, it's just kind of guessing, but we can make educated guesses, right? We're not going to be like completely in the dark. We have like something to go on. But let's see what we have in the chat. We have Gunkin, Suship, Shari with a rawsome. Hello, Shari. I hope you're having a good day. And we have Viana, the Cubic Seed. Welcome on in. My prediction for the new box is Yggdrago support. I mean, we don't know that it's not going to be Yggdrago support, right? Like, the issue is, I don't know. Let's humor this for a minute, right? So, if we were to get Yggdrago support, I think it's 1G in Yggdrago. What could we even get? All right, we're just gonna, because I mean, it could be anything, right? Now, we're not gonna get any of the Space Yggdrago stuff. Like, that ain't happening, realistically. But, like, maybe you could get, like, Sky Emperor Minion, but even this is Space Yggdrago support. So, realistically, I don't think we're gonna get any of this. And I don't think there is any other, like, Cyberse-related stuff that isn't gonna be Space Yggdrago or, like, Cyberspice. I mean, like, maybe something very hyper-specific. Like, we could get, like, Scare Chair Code, maybe, right? Add up to 2 Cyburst-type maximum monsters, and or Dark Attribute Fiend-type monsters with 0 attack, 2400 defense, or more from your graveyard to your hand. That has potential. More, and we're getting Warrior in the new box. I mean, I expect we're going to get some form of Warrior, right? Because we are expecting a new box to probably come out with Yuka. But it's hard to know exactly what they're going to do with it, right? So first things first, let's take a look at the evidence we do have, right? So we have our leaks and updates. We know that we are getting the Finalized Phoenix. We know we're getting Methyl, right? But then we're also going to be getting Yuka at some point, right? So what is the time difference between these? So the new character is late June, right? Now, obviously, we are early June right now. We are June 5th. Late June is going to be, I mean, literally probably about a month away. So 3 to 4 weeks away. Then when are we getting Maddox back? Maddox is early June. So I assume that's going to be, what, right after? That'll probably be like Monday or Tuesday when the WCQ event ends. So we'll probably have an event, I would think, between them. But then the question becomes, when do they want to give us this extra support, right? Because we're going to be getting a skill, which we already have. We can already read the skill for Maddox. I think it's in... Is it here, or is it the one before? It might be the one before, actually. Yeah, so we have this one. So it can be activated from turn 2 onward during a turn that you normal summon a normal monster. If all of the monsters in your constructor deck are monsters, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then you can add a level 7 or lower effect monster with 1500 or more defense from your graveyard to your hand. If you add a level 7 monster with 1600 or less defense, add Red Riser from outside of your deck to your hand, and send Chemicalizer Red from to your graveyard from outside of your deck. This is not fantastic, right? Like, it's a little bit awkward to use. Like, it's nice to be able to get Chemicalizer Red and Red Riser for free. I mean, this isn't like once per duel, right? So you could just constantly pump out free Red Risers. So like maybe there is something there. Like maybe. Next box has to be all baseball. Well, it'll be some baseball, but it can't be all baseball, right? But then it calls into question, right? If we've got, theoretically, Maddox next week, and then we have Yuka 2 weeks after that, where do they release a box? Because they could release a box right between them, or they could release it just after Yuka. The thing is, I would expect, if we're going to get Pyro support in the box, we would get new skills with that. But at the same time, they've done it with Zuijo as well, right? Where Zuijo came as his rerun, and we got the Tearfing skill, and we got the Tearfing card as a drop with him. And then very shortly after, they were like, oh, by the way, here's his Ouija box as well. That doesn't really give a shit about Tearfing or the Tearfing stuff. So they could quite easily do exactly that. Like, we have seen precedent for that very recently. So we could just see a bunch of new Maddox stuff come in the box, as well as getting this other new skill with these other new cards, right? Tomato tip, you should complain when things don't go your way. We have known that for years. It is the British way. But hello, Darth Victor. Don't tell me that. I mean, you're probably going to get, like, all the baseball cards, except maybe the traps. And then there'll just be other stuff in there, right? Like, there aren't a lot of baseball cards. It's not going to fill an entire box. I'm going to say it'll be end of the month. I would expect it. I think that does make sense. You probably want to release it, like, with Yuka Goha, right? So, like, maybe, like, the third day into her event when she becomes unlockable. Like, sort of that sort of time frame. So either on that day or the day after or a little bit around then, I think would make sense. But we will have to wait and see. Like, when we got Yuo wasn't actually released until, what, 2 or 3 days after the box came out with the Matari and stuff, and it was really weird. So, because I remember, we got to a weird point where it was like, oh, we have all the Matarian cards, but people are using Spearhead Draw because Yuo isn't out yet, and people can't use Matarian script. Like, it's funny. Now, they always release a box with a new character, are, of course, a trap in my Duel Links. Shake my head. Exactly. 4 days, 5, actually. Well, it doesn't really matter exactly. The point is, it was, like, a little bit after, right? So, it'll be interesting to see what they do decide. So, we know we're getting Methyl, right? We are getting Methyl. This is locked in. Methyl is coming. And during the turn that you normal summon this card, add a level 4 Pyro-type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. You can only attack with Pyros. That's fine. Most of the Pyro skills lock you into Pyro anyway, so that doesn't really mean anything. Getting back a level 4 Pyro normal is also, like, it's fine, but we already have An Magma Bear, which basically already does this. So, this is, like, a slightly better version of An Magma Bear, but it doesn't really change anything. Like, nothing drastic is going to change by adding in Methyl, realistically. But a card that could drastically change things is Ethel. So if we have no other monsters on the field, we can special summon a Methyl from your graveyard in face-up defense position. So this is only the turn that's normal summoned, so we can't then use Methyl to then get another card, so it's not like a 3+2. But being able to get, you know, a better card back, because realistically you're going to have, like, both of these. And then there's also going to be things like Alkyl, the Flame Emperor of the Lamp, which also, again, probably not very good. Like, this guy would probably need a skill to be what relevant, and I don't think they're going to give him a skill. I think if they were going to release this guy and give him a skill, it would have been with the release of Maddox, so I think we've already kind of crossed that bridge. But he's level 6, 1700. That's not really good. Pay 500 life points, special summon Ethel or Methyl from your graveyard face up to your field. So, notably, Ethel won't be online because you have a Alkyl on the board. And Methyl won't be online because it wasn't normal summoned. So it's not going to trigger either of their effects. Then if you have Ethel and Methyl face up on the field, this card gains 1,000 attack. So the strategy is ideally, right? You go Ethel summons Methyl, tribute 1, summon Alkyl. Alkyl summons back the one that you tributed to get it out. Then you can boost up by 1,000. Congratulations, you've made a 27 vanilla, basically. It's not super impressive. It's just not. Hey, I missed the start yapping. Hey, Corey, welcome on in. Now you've missed, like, mostly 9 minutes, so not much. And some of that is hellos. It's always hellos. Nothing but hellos. The other card that we could potentially get, because we are in, you know, Go Rush Fusion Town now, so all Go Rush Fusions are theoretically on the table. Obviously, some of them are a lot probably further down the table, but they're all on the table. We have Melel, the beautiful Flame Spirit of the Lamp. The one thing I have to say about this card is they're giving away one of its fusion materials in Methyl as a drop for Maddox, who is not at the gate yet. So if you don't do the Maddox event, but then they decide to like put Melel in the box, you then need to wait for either like a Go Rush level up where they could like slap some like Methyls in there, or just wait till he comes to the gate, which could be kind of annoying. But this card's pretty cool, right? So it's made with Methyl and Ethel. Obviously, one summons the other. Draw a card and show it. So 3+1. That is lovely. So first off, you'd summon out the Ethel. Ethel gives you a 3+1. Then you would get, what, a -2? Because you're losing 2 monsters and the fusion and replacing them with just a fusion monster. And then we're getting another 3+1. So effectively, we're kind of going even. So this is very cheap to get out, sort of like an extra plasma kind of is. But then, if that card is a Pyro-type monster, you can special summon a level 8 or lower Pyro-type monster from your graveyard face up to your field. Now, that's actually kind of cool. That means that could be... I mean, I guess Chemicalized Salamander's the most obvious one. I think for the most part, people are going to want to put this in decks that have skills that stop you from using Noodles. So maybe you won't be able to bring back, for example, the extra spice, even though that would be pretty cool as well. Oh yeah, for Mortarion soon? Ooh, probably not that one. But you never know. You never know, right? He's most likely the gate come in July, so it's not that long. I mean, yeah, but it still does suck if you just took a break and then you come back and it's like, oh, I can't play this new deck, right? Wait, what? Rush is still alive? Yes, Kim friend! It's still alive! And is that Paris I see in the chat? This basically is 2 cards for 1 boss and 1 draw, which is disgusting. And if they draw is good, you just went plus. It gets even better than that though, right? Because the card that you bring back can also have like a big impact on the game. And one of the best cards you could bring back is going to be Salamander. You would then activate Salamander. You've kind of already set up your graveyard because you've already got 2 monsters in the graveyard nicely. Salamander reduces your opponent's board, but then we would actually get the flagship of the Pyro Fusion deck, Alchemicalize Salamander. So this card is actually kind of bonkers. So this is made using Chemicalized Salamander and Super Assistant, actually. So this is the vanilla 1500 defense, and this is, you know, the boss monster. During the main phase, this card was special summoned, destroy all spell traps on the field. So obviously, we are in a world where we have Compulse very early. And so that means this won't be as, like, crippling. But, like, back in the day, if you managed to get this out, bearing in mind getting this out was a lot harder in OCG. But if you did get this out, you would, a lot of the time, going to win the game. Now, again, we should stress, Compulse does make this card a lot worse. But then, you can make all face-up monsters on your opponent's field lose attack equal to the number of spell cards destroyed by this effect, so not trap cards, times 1,000. So don't forget, this destroys all spell traps. So if you've got an excess of spells, you can set your own spells, pop your own spells, and reduce your opponent's board. Is that a raid from Lucio? Welcome, welcome on in, Raiders. I hope your stream went well, Lucio. You've caught us yapping. We are just doing a yap. We are doing a yap about Rush. That is currently what we're doing while we wait, and then we will be playing some speed after. But welcome on in. Hope y'all having a good time. Can this special the material that also revives the second material? So like one of the small thing that revives 2 fusions can in theory make that. So you can't, if you're talking specifically about Ethel and Methyl, these won't work. Because Ethel has to be the only monster on your field. So that's not going to be particularly helpful. And Methyl is only when it's normal summon, not special summon. So if you talk about those ones specifically, they won't work with those. I gotta go. See you, Tomato. See you, Victor. Thanks for stopping by. My guess is it's either a Firebox, Utopia, Noodle, Chemi, and we'll get an anime box update, Utopia, Psychic, and Royal Rebels. I mean, it could be anything, right? Nice. Anything new with Warriors? So we haven't gotten onto that subject yet, but we do know that we are getting Yuka. And Yuka is a Fire Warrior character. She plays a Fire Warrior deck based on the Utopia cards. So we're expecting to get them, right? So if we're getting the character, we'll be getting her cards, right? That's kind of all that we're predicting for Warriors at the moment. Warrior is in a bit of a weird spot, where a lot of the Dark Warriors, which are like the Fiendish Commanders, the Yami Rulers, etc., they're a little bit good or a little bit Floodgatey. And I don't think Konami like that, so they're not really giving them to us in like an unrestricted way, which kind of sucks. Bray, they made it unloopable. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Wasn't Roman the one who faced Yuka in the anime? So Roman lost to Yuka. Yuka did get a win against her. And then it was Roa that actually beat her. And that was on Royal Rebels. So in the same way, like Corey's saying, Utopia Psychic Royal Rebels would be a nice, like, a little bow. As in, like, it's a good anime reference. Those are all decks that do kind of need a bit more support. And it would thematically kind of make sense, right, to have all those together. And also, all being a firebox also does make a lot of sense. The only problem is, that's not really how Konami do things. Like, the only time we've ever had a box, which, as in for Rush specifically, that has been, like, wholly into, like, a specific theme and hasn't, like, been infiltrated by other weird stuff, was the Super Mini that was all based around fire cards, and I think there was also one Super Mini that was all based around dragons. Other than the Super Mini, no, they were deck builds. They weren't even Super Minis. Yes, it was the deck builds were the only ones that were very, very specifically like, oh, this makes sense. This is all like one type or one attribute. So I don't think we're necessarily going to see it be kind of wrapped up that nicely. Roman and Roa. So we should expect Psychic support, potentially. I mean, there's a lot of Psychic cards that we could get our hands on, and it's not easy to, like, work out exactly which ones they would give us. We still need 2 of the fusions. There's a lot of Wind Psychic stuff that we still haven't got. Like, in terms of stuff we skipped, there's actually a ton. If we go over to here. So, over here, right, if we take a look at this section, if we also go ahead and change this over so it looks a little bit nicer. Can I do that? No. That one? There we go. Alright, so this stuff over here that we've highlighted, this is kind of everything that we've skipped so far, right? This isn't like... There's maybe like the odd extra card somewhere in here that doesn't really matter. These are like kind of the archetypes over there that we have skipped. So this is everything that we've missed. Baseball is on this list, but we now know baseball's coming out. So baseball, we're finally getting it. We still don't have the normal Wind archetype, played by one of the Goha siblings. Music Princess, played by Tiger. Sushi Fairies, played by Sushiko. Fire Beast, played by the guy with the cowboy hat. I can't remember what his name was. He's got a cowboy hat. Reptiles, being played by Yuga Goha. We've got Arctork, played by Kaizo. We've got Zombies, played by the zombie guy that was in one episode. It was kind of split between 2 people, because there was the guy from the band, who was like Ushio, and he just played, like, just the one zombie boss, and then the other 2 zombie bosses were given to the other guy during the zombie episode. Then there's plant fusions we don't have, dinosaur fusions we still don't have for some reason, noodle fusions, newsflash fusions, ride across fusions, talismanic fusions, we have 1 of these, there's still a bunch more we haven't got, and chemical cure we still haven't got. How do we still not have chemical cure? And that's just the 7 stuff that we're missing, right? We're also then missing a whole bunch of Go Rush stuff, right? We skipped normal reptiles, D and Keto, which is like the new Aqua stuff, Heartless Hounds, which is basically, you can kind of think of it like Beast Gear 2.0. We don't even have Beast Gears yet, so I don't know when we're getting Heartless Hound, as in we haven't completed Beast Gears yet, because we still haven't got the bloody field spell. Dark Fairies, Drilling Machines. In terms of stuff that we've missed, and stuff that we should have, and we should have been expecting, we should have all of this by now if we were following either the anime timeline, or the release timeline, right? And we haven't got any of these, right? So it's all over the place. It's all over the place. Our cool warriors seem very strong. I guess skills bypass the power. In a lot of ways, yes. And obviously being heavily restricted doesn't help. Like, if we could play Yami Ruler and Yami Tarasu without having both of them limit 3, maybe you could do something with that, right? Baseball Utopia is kind of based. I just hope they will actually do anything that depends on competency and the skill, 90%, and cards that we get 10%. I would expect the skill to do a lot of heavy lifting, but we'll have to wait and see, really. Is that Ursus in the chat? Hello, Ursus. Bocce, my guy. Yeah, Botless. Bocce is the Heartless Hound guy. But yeah, as we can kind of see up here as well, these were, like, basically keeping track of stuff that was in different boxes. None of these are, like, a nice kind of type or anime chunk all kind of rolled into one thing, right? This is like, what, Sevens fusion, Sevens fusion, Sevens fusion. That's all quite good. But then they've also like thrown in Sidra as like the wild horse, right? Then these are actually not bad. The Go Rush box, the very first one, this was all pretty much true to the anime, to be fair. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is kind of all over the place. So it's very rare, I think, that we would get just the one like group of stuff. But getting back to the cards that we were predicting, our Chemicalized Salamandra being able to wipe the opponent's back row, kind of broken. Being able to reduce your opponent's attack by, usually this will be at least 1,000, but this could be as high as 3,000, 4,000, right? Kind of broken. You could just end the game with this on the spot, so very, very powerful. Then we'll have Super Graphicus Archer. This is a card that came out a bit later. You can probably tell by the fact it has a Japanese image, and that is usually a telltale sign this is a much more recent card. Made using Chromatographicus, which if anyone's forgotten, that's the 2500 vanilla that Pyros get, and Super Assistant Achi, and once again that's the vanilla with 1500 defense. Place a level 7 Pyrotechnical monster from your graveyard on top of the deck. Now we know we're going to have one because we made this using Chromatographicus. This card gains 2500 attack, so immediately becomes 55. Then you can make one face-up level 9 or lower. Very important, that's not level 8 or lower, because that means this will work on a lot of fusions. On your opponent's field, loses 1500 attack. So, theoretically, your opponent has, let's say, a 3k guy that's like a fusion. We reduce it down to 15. We go up to 55, and suddenly that's 4,000 damage we're getting in over your opponent's boss monster, which is pretty good. Now, again, it's a bit more recent, but nothing in this card's text says, like, it's not referencing any more modern cards. Nothing in here is, like, far-fetched. The effect is good, but it's not, like, insane. So, like, this is a card I think we could quite easily get. Then there's Splame. This card is actually kind of nutty. So this card is a little bit divisive, and that's because this card did see a lot of splash play in non-Pyro decks. You would play, like, a small Pyro engine, and include Splame in that engine, and then you would use this to go into basically easy access to fusing from the graveyard. So Splame is shuffle 2 Pyrotech monsters from your graveyard into the deck. This turn, this card's name becomes the same as the name of one level 8 or lower monster in your graveyard. And obviously the reason this is important, because you can turn it into any fusion material that's in your graveyard. So quite oftentimes you'd pick a level 7 or 8 monster that's in the graveyard, because then, right, we don't have to worry about tributing 2 monsters to get it out. Turn Splame into that, summon out the other material, fuse them both together, bam, we get an instant fusion monster, which is really good. Now again, this card, I don't know if this would matter as much in Duel Links, because we have skills, and because the game is so much faster. Trying to, like, set up the graveyard with Pyro monsters, and then get rid of them, and then summon out Splame, and use his effect. We've got to make sure we've got all the other pieces as well. This is maybe a bit too slow for Duel Links. But this card did see a decent amount of play in OCG, so I think it was worth mentioning that this card is a bit interesting. Then we have Dynamite. This is just a card that is another Gavin card that we just haven't got yet. I don't really know why we haven't got this card. Probably just because its stats are quite nice. 1100, 1100 is nice for just a body. But then during the turn that you normal summon this card, inflict 300 damage. So it's not really doing anything crazy. But we have already got, like, what's it called? The dog. Dynamite Dog Nitro, or whatever the hell it's called. Which just summons and burns, but then it's like you can only do it once. This is, like, fine. This is just a card that could be a box filler card, effectively. And then the last Gavin card I think we're likely to get is probably Firefall Blaze Barrier. So, this is a weird one. We did talk about this before, when... I don't know why I say Gavin either. Maddox, or Manabu. This card is a trap card, which is usually a red flag. We're probably not going to get trap cards, but it's worth mentioning. When an opponent's level 8 or lower monster declares an attack. So, that's already kind of shit, right? We're kind of already at the point where we're not attacking with level 8 and lower monsters that often. And because we can, like, obviously choose our attack orders, a lot of the time we can just attack in an order where this isn't going to matter. But while you have a face-up level 7 or higher Pyro monster. So again, this is a combat trick that only works on level 8 and lowers, and only while we have a level 7 or higher. So if they just attack with their, like, fusion monster, let's say, on our level 7 or higher, and let's say we've only got the 1, now the trap is just turned off, and that kind of sucks. But then, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Okay, that's nice. All face-up level 8 or lower monsters, so it affects all of them, which is quite nice. Lose attack equal to the number of Pyrotech monsters sent to the graveyard by this effect times 400. Now, the issue is, we don't know how many Pyro monsters we're going to mill with this effect. So if we mill 3, fantastic. The opponent's entire board, assuming this trap is even live, they lose 1200. That's quite nice. The issue is, you could just mill 3 spell traps and reduce their attack by nothing, and you've done nothing. So, not the best trap, there's probably like some niche use, but I don't think this would really see play in Duel Links, but I did think it was worth mentioning. So the other Pyro cards that we could potentially get, again, assuming the box does have Pyro support. I mean, Meat Spice, I'm still waiting for Meat Spice, guys. I really want Meat Spice, okay? You have no idea how much I want Meat Spice. But this is a fusion using Extra Spice and Taste Inspector, 2 cards we already have. During the main phase that you special summon this card, so once again, after the first turn you use it, this is going to be a vanilla. Burn your opponent for 1,000, draw a card. Then if you drew by this effect, you can set Noodle Art of Savory and or Noodle Art of Sorcery from your graveyard to your spell and trap card zone. So I believe we have one of those. So Sorcery is this one, which is actually another quite good card. So send cards from your hand to the graveyard up to the number of normal type Pyro monsters in your graveyard. Draw cards equal to the number of cards sent to the graveyard to meet this requirement. Then if you have a face-up Pyro type normal monster on your field, you can draw 1 additional card. So basically, you don't plus with this, but you will go even, right? So the idea is you want to fill the graveyard with stuff for like various effects and then draw into a bunch more cards. Ideally, reset your hand, find all the combo pieces you're going to want. But obviously, you'd be doing this after having already summoned out Extra Spice. Ideally, use its effect, drawn a card off of that, burned your opponent for 1,000, fuse into this, burn your opponent for another 1,000, draw a card. Now, the downside, right? As Shari has just said, it burns for 1,000, and having an almost guaranteed 2,000 burn damage, that's 33% of your opponent's life total. And we already know that Konami don't like noodles because they don't like burn. Konami doesn't like me very much because of noodles. So, what about the beautiful card Barrier Statue of Infernos? Maddox has voice lines for it. I think if we get Barrier Statue, I think they would have to do something weird, like attach it to a skill. Like, you only get the card if you have a skill that, like, creates it and once per duel or something. And then... Because the thing is, it's the only banned card in OCG for a reason, right? Now, it could just be, like, an NPC thing, right? Like, just NPCs can use it, whatever. But, like, it's not easy to know exactly what they're going to do with it. But the other Noodle fusion we don't have yet is Miso Instant, the Special Noodle Ninja, 2900, made using Cross Promotion. And Cross Promotion is just this guy. He's just another level 7 Pyro Vanilla. He just has less defense than Chromatographicus. And Taste Inspector, which is a card we already have. Shuffle 3 Pyro-type monsters from your graveyard into the deck. This turn, this card gains 600 attack. Okay, 35. That's okay. And Piercing, which is nice. Having Piercing is good, especially if you're combining this with the other burn effects, because you could, like, burn your opponent for 1,000, fuse off, burn your opponent for 1,000, then go into Miso, and then get Piercing with 35, attack into your opponent, and maybe get another big chunk or finish them off. So it's not awful, not awful. If we get Barrier Statue, I'm going to Shadowverse. I'm going to Shadowverse either way. I'm going to be playing Shadowverse. I'm looking forward to playing that game. Attach it to a skill once per duel, and after a few turns it disappears. After 2 turns max. Probably after just a turn. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Because they've already hard limited Yami Tarasu, which is like a similar thing. And that's already got a limit 3 attached to its fusion material being limit 3, which is like really annoying. So the only other Noodle card that we don't have is Spicery. And this card's just whatever, right? So this turn, 1 face-up Pyro monster gains 300 attack and Piercing. That's it. That's all it is. This is just Pierce with 300 extra attack. And it only works on Pyros. That's all this is. This, in my opinion, you would want to attach to like a skill. In the same sort of way that we had the skill for Jointech that allowed you to get the Jointech Rush Horn every turn. I could see a skill that just lets you get Spicery every turn. And that's like the way that you beat set 3 pass. That just makes sense to me, but maybe it'd be like a little bit too good because you could run this card as well. And then maybe if you activate 2 and 1, I don't. If you have no cards on the field, send your entire hand to the graveyard, add it from outside of the deck once per duel. I mean, that seems really bad though. In a skill, once per duel, stats become 0 attack and defense. I mean, could be. So now, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Yuka Goha cards. These are the baseball cards everyone's been waiting for. So they can't out it with any normal summon, kill it in next turn, can special summon again. The issue is that, like, I think at that point, is it even worth it? Like, what have you done by doing that, right? You just kind of make it so your opponent can't, like, OTK you with the fusion play, I guess. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. Because the other thing is, as soon as it's in the graveyard, it then creates another weird situation. Because there's lots of cards that can bring it back from the graveyard, such as Execute Your Riding, right? Your opponent summons out a card, Execute Your Riding, bring it back, reduce your opponent's attack by 1,000. Look, he's on the field again, right? So you'd have to come up with something to deal with that as well. Like it disappears straight up afterwards. Baseball, not really good. So baseball is in a weird spot where the cards in a vacuum, they're fine, but they're not good, right? The issue is baseball was actually quite powerful in the OCG for quite a long time. It was seeing play literally up until it was having tops and winning tournaments when the Abyss-Kite Maximum stuff came out. So when Kraken and Poseidra came out, this deck was still, like, not often, but it was still seeing tops. It was still performing at a high level, as deep in as Go Rush Maximums. So, like, it's hard to, like, write this deck off, but I do think if we got just the baseball cards, I don't think they're going to do it on their own. They're going to need a skill to, like, do a lot of the heavy lifting, because the way that baseball kind of managed to develop was it would play with a bunch of other stuff as well, right? So it saw experimentation being combined into other decks. We did see it see play with Guildford OTK. We did see it see play with some of the Sea Serpent stuff and using the, I believe it was Leviadragon Daedalus to wipe the board. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. The skill will double home run hitter's attack. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That seems a little bit too good. Baseball, rah! So this is the boss. So first things first, this boss has a really nice stat line. It's level 8. Level 8's quite good. 2,500 attack. That's spot on. That's exactly what we want to see. And it doesn't have piddly defense. That's also really nice. So fantastic. That's great. If a face-up for Beaverous Spirit Stadium is on the field, send 2 face-up level 4 attribute fire monsters from your field to the graveyard. So this doesn't have to be warrior, which is, like, nice. But obviously you don't really want to give up 2 bodies. But then it gains 2,500 attack. Okay, 5,000. Respectable. We only have 6,000 life points. That's quite a lot. This turn you can only attack with this card. I think most of the time you won't even use the effect. Most of the time this will just be a 2,500 guy that works with a lot of your other cards. And occasionally you'll be like, oh, well, I haven't got piercing or anything, so I'm just going to boost and slap over your 1 attack position monster or something, right? Shoot, I missed the yapping. Hello, Toti. You haven't missed much. We've just been talking about Pyro for the most part. We just kind of finished talking about Pyro. We went over, like, the noodle cards and some of the chemicalized stuff. Why can't you use 99 and 39 effect on the same turn? Make the skill change 99's level. I mean, you could do. Yo, people. Hello, Bankai. Welcome, welcome. 5k attack is kind of underwhelming when we are used to, like, an 8k Oblivion. Yes. The difference is that getting Oblivion to an 8k means, like, spinning down the entire deck and, like, playing through absolutely everything. This is theoretically easier. Like, you could even have the skill just, like, shit out 2 bodies on your field just to send for home run hitter's effect, right? There's lots of different things you could do with this. But again, this guy isn't typically going to be used for the boosting effect. Typically, he just works with the other cards. So next one, we have Home Plate Pinch Hitter. So shuffle 3, level 4. So this is the one mildly annoying thing. These have to be level 4 fire attribute monsters. So it can't be 3, can't be 2, can't be 1. Has to be exactly 4. This card gains 1,500 attack. Okay, 4,000. It's not 5,000, but it's a hell of a lot easier to get that boost. Then, if your life points are 1,000 or lower, okay, how often is that going to be the case? Sometimes, probably not a lot. You could play around it a lot of the time. You can make 1 face-up monster on your opponent's field lose 3,000 attack. So that's kind of like getting a 4,000 direct hit in, which, like, is nice, but how often is that going to be live, right? How often is it going to be live? Getting Oblivion to 8k was a lot of work compared to this. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, it is a lot of work, but you'd usually do it in, like, a turn. So it doesn't feel like a lot of work, you know? If the deck's doing what it should be doing, you should be getting that online. Gosh, I need to save gems for these. I mean, potentially, right? They have to be level 4 to mimic the Xyz material. Exactly, Toti. Toti gets it, So then we have Grand Slam. So stats are a bit crap. 2,000, 2,000. but we can shuffle 3 fire attribute monsters from your graveyard into the deck to special summon Home Run Hitter. Notably, this has to be Home Run Hitter, not Home Plate Pitch Hitter. So, it gets a 2500 body on the field, which is cool, right? Then this card gains 2000 attack. So, basically, you could get this out as a 4000. You get out Home Run Hitter as a 25. You can't use Home Run Hitter's effect because you'd have to give up 2 level 4s. We don't have 2 level 4s, we have this. But I don't know why you would want to, right? Like, if you could get out a Grand Slam at 4k and a Home Run Hitter at 5k, that's quite attractive. But if it was like, get rid of Grand Slam to just get this up to 5k, you're kind of losing out on damage, right? You basically go minus 15 for that, so it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. But Grand Slam is okay. It's not anything crazy. I think, again, you'd need a skill to make this feel really, really good. But refilling the deck is not a bad idea. Effectively, we're getting like the 2k body for free, right? Because if you think about it like Grand Slam Dragon is an extra copy of Home Run Hitter in your deck, right? Because as long as you have Home Run Hitter at the graveyard, you just get it anyway, and then you just get like a free 2k, which is a 4k for the turn. So like, it's okay. It's okay. Go Utopia. Hello, Mr. Tomato. Hello, chat. Hello, Sakadetsu. Welcome, welcome. Watch them just give us all the Dark Galaxy skill for this. I mean, they definitely could do, right? They could do. So then we got Achachakacha. Look, it's a level 4. It's a level 4 Fire Warrior. It's a baseball. 1400 attack is okay. 400 defense is kind of crap. Then we have Gaga Outfielder, another level 4. It's just straight up worse, but we do need specifically level 4s, so it makes sense. Then we have Zubabarbata, which is just the best of them, right? It's just a 1500. Again, it has 400 defense. Obviously, we'd like to see that be higher, but it is a kind of a combo piece, so it kind of works out, right? But Zubabarbata is obviously the best one. I also think he looks the coolest as well. Then we have Dododo Second. So it's a face-up Feverous Spirit Stadium is on the field. Pay 500 life points. This turn, this face-up card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a fire attribute monster in attack position. Now, I will say, this is just a fire attribute. So you could summon the dragon or a warrior, or you could summon out like a noodle, right? You could summon out Pyro. So there is some use there, but you wouldn't really be using Feverous Spirit Stadium in those decks. Then there's Go Umpire. Shuffle the field spell from your graveyard into the deck. Special summon 1 fire attribute normal monster, 400 defense from your graveyard. That's going to be basically just the Utopia cards. This turn you can only attack with fire monsters. So again, it just gets you more bodies. More bodies is more tribute fodder. Or I guess you could just summon this, bring 1 back, send both to the graveyard for Utopia's effect, and boost the attack, right? Dododo Second really just brought an axe to the game. It's very important to just have the axe, right? And the spiked helmet as well. Very important. That thing do look funny with pants. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So then we have the field spell itself. So while this card is face up in the field zone, face up fire attribute monsters on your field gain 400 attack during your turn only. And face up fire attribute monsters on your opponent's field gain 400 attack during their turn only. So we kind of pass back the boost, but it's only for fire monsters, so unless you're in the mirror, that's not really going to matter. It's not fantastic. If you're getting 1200 across the board, because you've got 3 guys who are getting a boost, this kind of becomes relevant, especially when we're in like a 6k meta, so that is something worth taking note of. If Yuko is coming, surely it means Royal Rebels, right? It doesn't have to. That's the thing. It could do. It absolutely could do. But it doesn't have to. It really doesn't have to. Make it a free-to-play structure. I don't think we're going to see another structure for a little while. I would expect the next structure to be after Worlds. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe a bit before Worlds? I'm trying to think when they released, well, how they released structures going into Worlds. I don't think they released any new ones. But who knows? Give us Royal Rebels Progressive. You want Progressive already? Calm yourself, Banco. We cannot have Progressive this early. Progressive is so good. It's actually so good. I know you will be spending your gems on baseball. Now, definitely after Worlds. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting, right? Like, when we get the, like, September update, that is when I would expect, like, a new structure deck. My guess would be that we're going to get probably Go Rush maximums with like the September update, and then we'll get a structure deck maybe for like Blaze Fiends. I think could be really cool. Like imagine a free-to-play Blaze Fiend deck that has like a really cool skill attached to it as well, and that goes along with like Kraken coming out, Poseidra coming out, the other one coming out. I can't remember what his name is. What's the big yellow one? The big like metallic yellow sea dragon guy. I can't remember his name. He was always the most popular, but like always performed the worst. It was the one that was kind of like a big towers. But I cannot remember what the heck it's called. It's the non-phaser one. It gives me an excuse to play Goat Rower more and invest in Royal Rebels. Poseidra? No, it was the I mean, we could probably just find it, right? We have the technology. If we go Sea Serpent. Sea Serpent not hyphenated, that's annoying. Shine Steel? I mean, maybe. This one. Yeah, Shine Steel. Oki Abyss. I've always called this Oki Abyss. I suppose that's because that's its name. But yeah, this one. This was always the most popular. Whenever I would look to play against people to get footage for videos or for practice for tournaments, I would run into this deck so much. This deck was so popular. But, like I say, I think a Blaze Fiend structure would actually be really cool. Apparently it's Space Fiend. Like, how cool would these be to have? Because I think it's cool as well to put a maximum in a structure deck. It lets people play with the mechanic. It's brand new. Blaze Fiends as well were never the strongest maximum. So it would also mean it'd be something cool to play, but it isn't going to be like, oh, here's tier 0. There you go. It would just be like something cool to have. The Tremolo Max. Yeah, exactly. Blaze Fiends are cool. Yeah, I think Blaze Fiends are awesome. I think these cards look cool. This is also when they were getting experimental with having like all the pieces be level 10. This wasn't the first time that happened, but this was like one of the first. It was quite impactful. And then this was the first time we got level 4 maximums as well. So these were all of the individual pieces you could just summon as level 4s, or you could like maximum summon them as a big guy, right? The art is unbelievable. Yeah, the art is so good. What structure be Skystream? It could be. I think it would be really boring, but it could be. Because if you think about it as well, if we go all in on a maximum set as well, we could, because we're also missing Skystream, right? Skystream should have been out ages ago, right? Skystream was right after... I'm trying to think now. Was Skystream during the Fusion arc? Is that when he got Skystream? I missed cut the Konami. That was unbelievable. It'll be fitting because the new OCG box later this year gives us new Blaze Fiend rituals and more. We're not getting the new cards. We could get like 1 or 2 of the new cards. I don't think we'll get all of them, but we have obviously had a precedent set of them giving us some more recent support to some old stuff. I don't think we'll get like the ritual stuff, but potentially we could get like just a couple of like spell cards or a monster or something, right? Noodle Utopia. I mean, potentially Noodle Utopia, right? Oh my god, it's Lucilus. Exactly. You have one of the maximums in the Nail deck, Tribute Boss in Overrush Rare. I don't care about the max. I just want him because he looks hot as fuck. I mean, to each their own. I'm not gonna call you out on that. Some of the most beautiful cards. I think Doomblaze Feed Overlord Desperation looks amazing. Personally, I think this guy looks awesome. Like, I just want to appreciate this art. Look at this guy. Look at this. This art goes so hard for no reason at all. This deck did nothing, but it's so cool. Also, needs to be ages. Rest of Harpies maximum. No. Harpies, every single time Harpies has had support in OCG, it has been the best deck in the game. It got support when it first came out, and it was just an OTK deck, basically. You made the maximum, it was overpowered as shit. Then it got a second wave where it got the Harpies Pet Master, and it became the best deck in the game again. It had the ability to freely pop any card on the field. It was just really busted. Then it got the structure deck, where it became kind of tied for the best deck. It was like definitely up there. It was kind of maybe the second or third best deck, but it was a tier 1 deck for sure. And then it got its latest update. Well, I say the latest. It got its Harpy Lady 1, 2, and 3, where it became tier 0. So like Harpies is so crazy how every single time Harpies get support, it becomes the best deck in the game, that I don't really want to see it get any support for Duel Links. Please give us 1, 2, 3. No. No. You're in the Tomato Discord. I can send you the cards. Yeah, I am. Can we look at Lucilus? You want to look at Lucilus? Okay. I assume you want to look at this one, right? Oh, no, this one. Is this the one you want to look at specifically? The art isn't like... There you go. Just for you. Just for you. So hot. How much I missed? We've just finished talking about Pyro and Baseball. That's where we're at the moment, Manicus. Welcome on in, by the way, Manicus. I hope you've been having a good time. You've obviously been very, very, very busy lately with work. I hope everything's going all right, my friend. Right, we'll close that. Close that. Close that. Close that. But yeah, I think it would be really, really cool to get a maximum structure. I think that would be cool. I don't know why we haven't got one yet. It would be really cool. Then we have Tag Up Magic Sacrifice Force. Send one face-up fire attribute monster from your field to the graveyard. Notice any fire attribute. Does not have to be a warrior. Special summon one level 8 fire attribute monster from your hand face-up to your field. Once again, doesn't have to be a warrior. Now, I'm not saying you should play this with Extra Spice the Noodle Ninja. I am saying it does legally work with Extra Spice the Noodle Ninja. Then if you sent level 8 monster to the graveyard to meet its requirement, you can destroy a spell trap. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm watching the stream without sound currently. Is Tomato about to do another Husbando tier list? Probably not. Then we have Heavy Roller. This is another weird card where this is one of those like consistency tool cards. We've only had one of these so far, and that was the Sea Serpent one. But this one's a little bit better depending on how you look at it. This is like a discard 1, draw 2 kind of card. It doesn't actually plus you, but it breaks even. You do need to have the field spell to get the extra plus. But I wouldn't be surprised if this card just didn't come out. This is technically a Yuka card, so I thought we'd mention it. Then we get the trap cards, Guts. When a monster on your field is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, special summon one fire attribute monster from your graveyard to your field in face down defense position. Then if you special summoned Home Run Hitter or Grand Slam Dragon, so once again pinch hitter just always being left out. By this effect, you can destroy one monster on your opponent's field. So this is pretty good. The only issue is it only triggers when a card is destroyed by an effect, but this would be a really cool way to like kind of have a way to counteract Dark Hole Device. So like, you know, maybe. Then there's Requesting 9. When your opponent, when your monster is destroyed by an opponent's attack, gain 900 life points. Yeah, 900 is nice. Then if you have 9 or more fire attribute monsters in your graveyard, I don't know how likely that is to be unless we have a skill that helps us fill that, just because the game is so quick at the moment. You can then special summon a player 39 Home Run Hitter or player 99 Grand Slam Dragon from your graveyard face up to your field. So there are a shit ton of traps exactly like this that we don't have yet. We don't have the Cuckoo Clock, which gets us back Night Vision. We don't have Disco Ball to get us back D and Keto. We don't have the Worm one, which just lets us get back any worm. There are so many trap cards that just special summon a boss from the graveyard, and we have none of them. So maybe they'll give us all of them all at once. That would be kind of cool. But who knows? Who knows what we're actually going to get with this? So then we'll talk about some of like the other cards we could potentially get that do kind of work in the archetype. Mila Nesso, hello, Mila, welcome. What we should do, we're actually going to give a shout out to Mila, because unfortunately I don't get to be in Mila Nesso's streams that often. And I think Mila does primarily stream over on YouTube. But Mila is fantastic. The issue is Mila streams at times that are really good for LATAM, and I'm usually asleep then. So I don't get to catch the Mila streams often, but Mila is a fantastic player and streamer. And obviously content creator as well, over on YouTube. Mila Nesso over on YouTube. Could I ask a favor? Sure, what is it? What is it, Mila Nesso? You can ask anything. I am down. And then once we've done that, we'll go back to looking at Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Utopia Balls. Hello, Sora Mia. Welcome on in, my friend. We've just kind of finished talking about Utopia. I guess we're kind of wrapping up Utopia. But I want to increase the quality of my content on my potato PC. It has a new resolution. Could I use some of your gameplay from YouTube? Obviously, with the respective credits. Yeah, that's fine, mate. I mean, I personally, I don't really care if someone lifts gameplay from my channel regardless. And if anyone ever uses anything from my channel, and it's like stuff that I would care about, as long as they credit me, I wouldn't care anyway. So again, if it's like gameplay, I'm fine with whatever, right? If someone like lifts my whole video or like comments on stuff that I've like said in a video or whatever, that is when I would want to be like credited. Like, but other than that, like, that's kind of, I'm fine with anything. So here we have Sayanin, the Combustion Commander. So this card's pretty cool. If you have no other monsters in your field, add a level 8 Fire or Dark Warrior-type monster from your graveyard to your hand. So this is really, really good because this works with, obviously, the baseball cards. But also, this would work quite nicely with some of the, like, Yami Ruler cards. Now, a lot of the skills are going to lock you, right? So you might never get a good chance to use this with the Yami Ruler cards just because a lot of the skills are going to be, like, Dark Warriors only. But there is potential. There is potential. Especially since a lot of the skills don't look like level 4 monsters. Utopia balls. But this is a pretty good card. It's basically a 3+1. It gets you a boss back to your hand. It could be useful, right? Another card. This card is actually kind of a bit annoying, I want to say. So this card is Guildford the Rising. And this card was the centerpiece of Guildford OTK. Bridging the gap between baseball and Yami Ruler is cool. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool. Where is my Same Ruler fusion? It will be coming. It will come out eventually. I'm not sure when they're going to slot it in. Like, we could get it soon, right? But Guildford the Rising. This card cannot be special summoned. During the turn that you normal summon this card, so only for the one turn, shuffle 2 warriors from your graveyard into the deck. This turn, this card can make up to 3 attacks on monsters. So, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to work out the play here, right? You go Guildford, bam. You go Piercing Samurai, bam. We have a 2500 attack guy that attacks 3 times. With Piercing, clears the whole board, then we have 2 other monsters that can get direct attacks in, and your opponent is dead. Again, there's nothing like crazy going on. The issue is, as we went on through like Russia's lifespan, this deck kept getting more support cards. There were just more and more cards that were like, give a guy an attack boost, give a guy piercing, like very, very easily, very, very like cheaply. So because of that, Guildford OTK was around for a really, really long time. I need to sort out my my bits audio. This happened last time. Someone cheered some bits, and it also scared me then. I need to make sure I actually go through and sort that out. But thank you for the bits, Mila Nesso. Do appreciate it. Guildford, my beloved. If we get Blaze Fiends, we need the Overrush rare of Big Maximum and Lucius, and maybe a Duel Links exclusive Overrush rare for the Small Maximum. I mean, yeah. I mean, that would be cool, right? 100%. I'd be happy with that. I will give you Konami. I will give you money, Konami, please. No. But yeah, if Guildford came out, this kind of fixes a lot of the problems that the baseball deck has, right? The baseball deck doesn't really have a lot of ways to get piercing in Archetype, outside of like Piercing Samurai, which is not really in Archetype. If we got Guildford, you could just use Guildford. Like, let's say the skill locks you to Fire Warriors, for example. You use Guildford, because you can't use Piercing Samurai. Guildford just attacks all 3 monsters, and then you attack them directly with Big Baseball Head, right? And bam. Could be good. Why you hate skill? What do you mean hate skill? You're gonna have to be more specific there, Luis Fernando. I don't hate skills. I think there are some skills that are bad, but I don't hate skills. Is that a misprint? Looks like a Dilford. Whoa, calm down there, Shari. Calm down. So next up, we're going to take a look at Offal Gun McQueen, the Magnificent Shichirin. So, again, going under the assumption that there is potential that a new box could just be fire-themed, right? I'm not saying that's a high likelihood because, again, in the past, we haven't really seen that. But this is something that could be slotted in as, like, an SR and then just have like the R's and N's be the material, right? But this guy is actually not awful. So 2900 attack, level 9. Made using Shitterin Samurai, Kushio the Skewer Master, and Taste Inspector. We'll talk about him in a minute. But shuffle 2 Shitterin Samurai, Kushio the Skewer Master, and or Taste Inspector from your graveyard into the deck. So you should have one of each. So you can do it immediately. Destroy all face-up, level 9 or lower, non-fire attribute monsters on your opponent's field. So this is very important because this is level 9 or lower, not level 8 or lower, which is a massive, massive difference, right? The Noodle Fusion Piercing, maybe? I mean, potentially. I mean, we were talking about that earlier. We kind of already talked about all of the Pyro stuff. We've gone on to like the Warriors and now onto the Beasts. But this is a really strong effect. The only downside is you have to play... Not him. You have to play this guy. He's a level 7, 2200 attack. That's not great. During the main phase, in which this card was normal or special summoned, if you have 7 or more fire attribute monsters in the graveyard, destroy all face-up level 8 or lower monsters with 2500 or more attack on your opponent's field. This is one of those effects that's like really awkward, and sometimes is going to be really cool, and sometimes is going to do absolutely nothing. So this guy's kind of a bit crap, but this guy's actually not bad, right? The only downside of this guy is that we have to play him with this guy. So there's that. And then the other fire beast boss monster is going to be Prime Roast Beef Horseman. Everyone should know, you know, what was he called? It was Battleox and was it Mystic Centaur or something? And then you combine them into this guy. Yeah, so it was a Barbecue Ox and Mystic Roastman. But during the main phase that you special summon this card, place 4 fire attribute beast monsters from your graveyard on the top of your deck in any order. Add up to 1 of each Beast Bite, BBQ, and Wild Kitchen from your graveyard to your hand. So this is quite nice. It can give you like a +3. Obviously, it's like a -2 to summon it, but it could be a +3, right? Baseball box, they should give us Evil Baller. I mean, that would be cool. Only Maximums and Ultima would be safe on current Duel Links pool. No. Yes, that is correct. I don't think we have any of the level 10 fusions yet. Rabid Horseman. Yeah, there you go. There we go. But the other cards, so this is Best Bite. So if you have a face-up level 7 or higher beast-type monster on your field, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Notably that we can put 4 beast monsters from our graveyard on top of our deck, so we can guarantee we're going to get 4 of them. Then, if 4 fire attribute beast-type monsters were sent to the graveyard by this effect, 1 face-up monster on the field gains 2900 attack. So, like, you can set this up, but it's still a little bit awkward, right? It's a little bit like anime, in that everything kind of has to go right. You have to get this card in the graveyard, ideally. Then you need to get out the fusion. Then the fusion puts the cards back on top of your deck. And then you can use this. Then you get 2900 attack. But all it does is give 2900 attack, which is kind of like, eh. Cyber End level 10. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's another one. Then there's BBQ. So shuffle 1 beast-type monster from your graveyard into the deck. All face-up fire attribute monsters on the field gain attack equal to the number of face-up fire attribute monsters in the field times 100. So this card isn't very good, realistically. This is just all of your guys get 300 attack, unless your opponent also has fire monsters, and then you could get up to 600. It's kind of whatever. And then the other one's Wild Kitchen. So this is a field spell. Activate this card if you have 3 face-up fire attribute monsters on your field. When this card is face-up in the field, all face-up fire attribute monsters gain 300 attack. So in a lot of ways, this is a little bit better than the Fire Stadium, because it's 100 less attack, but you keep it during your opponent's turn. It's a little bit harder to activate because you have to have 3 face-up fire monsters to do it. And obviously it won't turn on the effects that you require to have that specific field spell, so it's a little bit awkward there as well. It sure is an anime deck. Exactly. But those are like some of the stuff that we could get, right? So what I want to do now, obviously we're going to look at some more cards in a minute as well, but I can only get so many tabs open at once, right? We're going to have a look and see what cards we think might potentially come in the box, right? So this was our last predictions. What did we get right here? So Eternal, that was right, that was right, that was right, that was right. Extra Plasma. Was Extra Plasma... Extra Plasma wasn't an SR, right? I think that was a rare. So that was wrong. That was an SR. Theogonia... Was Theogonia an SR or an R? I'm going to go have a look. I'm going to make sure I get this right. Alright, if we get this up. Okay, that was a rare, that was an SR, that was an SR, that was an SR. So extra plasma was just a rare. Oh, we already knew that one, didn't we? What was the other one we were looking at? Theogonia. What was Theogonia? Was Theogonia just a rare as well? I also might be a little bit blind. Where is Theogonia? Am I actually blind? Oh, there it is. It's rare. It was a rare. So that was wrong. That was an SR. Extraplora was an SR. Chrysaor. Was Chrysaor a rare? That was an SR. So we got that one right as well. Demolisher, Scout, and Twin. Demolisher, Twin, Scout. Yeah, so those were all right as well. So we got those two wrong. Prophet was an SR, and Eve was an SR. So we got those ones wrong as well. So we got 4 wrong out of the ones we did predict last time. Which is not bad. That's not bad. That is no Royal Rebel support. I'd like the XQTs at some point. Theogonies and R. So we've already spoke about the XQTs at length. But XQTs are really hard to do. Because they are kind of like... I'm trying to think of like a good speed analogy, but it's really hard. I'm gonna go with it. They're kind of like Sky Strikers, in that they don't really need a skill to be good, right? In the same way that like Sky Strikers were a meta deck for quite a long time in speed, even without having a dedicated striker skill, or if they do have one, they weren't using it. And because of that, it's really hard to put them in a satisfying way, because I feel like either they come out and they're just the best deck in the game, or they come out and they're really mid. And if you give them a skill, there's a good chance they do just become like really, really good and like overpowered. And I don't know, it's a really difficult way to do it. Theogonia is an R, Theo is an R, Theogonia is an R. Thank you. Really do appreciate that. Pretty sure base monster SR fusions are, yes. Yes, very busy. Well, I hope you're not busy for too long, Manicust, unless it's good busy. But alright, so let's go out on a limb and say we know we're getting baseball, right? So this is probably going to be Utopia. I don't know what exactly Utopia's name is. This one, home run hitter. I would expect this to be a UR. This is like the main ace of the deck. I would be surprised. Alright, we're just going to keep it Utopia. Alright, I think Utopia's going to be a UR. Hard rock and progressive. I don't think we're getting progressive. I really don't think we're getting progressive. Alright, I think that's locked in, right? So potential URs. If it's going to be a firebox, I could see the chemicalize alchemicalize salamandra. That makes sense to me. Surely we get Utopia Dragon. I would expect that to be an SR. That's what I'm going to say. So we're going to say Grand Slam Dragon. That's not Slam. That's Slain. But I would expect that to be an SR, personally. If we're, again, going under the theme that it could be a firebox, like, that could be... I really want Meat Spice. Like, I really want Meat Spice. Noodle Fusion SR. Do you think they'd give us both Noodle Fusions? Or do you think they'd only give us one? So we have Meat Spice, which is the one I want. And then there's Miso Instant, which is still a cool one. But I want Meat Spice. I want this one. Maybe Sidra support? I mean, maybe. There's not... It's difficult to say with non-anime decks, because there's no real timeline for them. It just kind of is like, when do you like feel they would fit in? They release Search Fusion because at Duel Links. I mean, again, there's a chance. There's definitely a chance they could. My gut is telling me they want this box to round out Worlds. Right? They want this box to have at least 2 decks in it that people want to play at Worlds. That's what I'm expecting. New Archive skill deck, like Umi deck. Yeah, I mean, an Archive skill deck could be Cyber Dragons, though, right? Like, there's that sort of thing. We only use Search and Duel Links. I mean, you're not wrong. Chemicalized Orb, maybe? Chemicalized Orb is a bit awkward. So if we go in... I don't know, we'll take a look at this one. Let's do it here. So the Orb is... I assume we're talking about Alchemicalized Orb. So Alchemicalized Orb is a bit of a weird card. So first off, this requires a Pyro and then an Aqua or Thunder. So that's the first reason I don't think this is going to come out. Because I think they'll want to have a set focusing on the Pyro Fusion stuff before we go into the Pyro Maximum stuff. And the thing with Orb is this is kind of Pyro Maximum support. Or at least it's part of the... when the deck becomes a Pyro, Aqua, and Thunder deck. So, I mean, they could release this card, but I don't think they will. But this card is also really good. So then top card of your deck to the graveyard, choose one face-up monster on your field. Any monster mind, not like a fire monster. This turn, that monster inflicts piercing, so that's quite nice. Then you can place a spell trap from your opponent's field on top of the owner's deck. So this card does a lot, right? This is quite easy to make. It's modular. It can give anything piercing, including itself or including another big boss that you've got. And it gets rid of your opponent's back row without destroying it. Which, depending on where we are, like, you'll eventually get cards that protect your back row from being destroyed. Hello, Acceleration Gate. Welcome on in, my friend. We should give a shout out to Acceleration Gate. I think we've done that, like, every time Acceleration Gate has come in recently, but we don't get to hang out with Acceleration Gate much, so we've always got to give him a shout out when he's about. There you go. Alright, Mr. Tomato, I have to go. It's last day of semester. Thank you for showing Lucius on stream. Thank you for dropping by, Koyo. Always a pleasure, and I hope your last day of semester goes well. We need more Mana Boost Season 2 stuff. Tomato, what if we get Chromatographicus Fusions? I want to use my 3 Prismatic ones. I mean, we already had talked about those. We spoke about this guy, Super Graphicus Archer. We did predict this could be one. Plants Incoming Trust. I mean, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. I do feel honoured, my good sir. How did the tournament go yesterday, by the way, Acceleration Gate? Because I was actually... I was teetering on the edge of entering in the... What was it? The... Oh, what's it called? The Accession Weekly? Accession? Because it was when you slam the two together, it gets a new name, right? But I was contemplating entering, and then just like... Evening rolled around and I was like, I've got too much shit to do, I can't do it. Plant Cope. I just want the maximum already, damn it. I mean, eventually. It was pretty fun. We had RDA versus Speedroids in the final. Okay. Well, especially since a lot of people are saying that, like, RDA's fallen off. It's quite interesting to see that it's still doing okay. I assume RDA won, because I've heard people saying that RDA is still really good. It's just really shit into Shadow, but good into everything else. Roid in finals. I've never been like a huge fan personally. That's just me. Brave Soldiers taking their chances against the 40% Shadow Top Cut. Real and true. I guess down here we're gonna put Mellow. That'd probably be an SR, right? I don't even know what other... Like, if we are assuming this is a firebox, I don't even know what else you would put in. Like, this would probably be an SR, maybe? Home plate, pinch hitter. I mean, I think we locked that in even. I'll just put it over here. Home plate, pinch hitter. We need to enlighten Tomato to Speedroid. Nah, yeah, you know, I kind of like dinosaurs, you know? That's kind of where I've been at. Dinosaurs are cool. Who doesn't like dinosaurs? I mean, Awful Gun McQueen would probably be an SR. Gun McQueen. I like Dino, but too, but Goatroid. I've just never been a huge fan. What can I say? We probably don't need the rest of this up at them. We'll start closing some tabs. Hard Rock. Listen, you're jumping the gun, Portuguese dub fan. Okay, we're currently looking at it as if it was just a firebox. That's what we're currently doing. James the Steam Swallow would be an option if we get Orb without the maximums. James the Steam Swallow. I feel like you just made up a card name. I don't want to type it in even, but... Nope, he's actually called James the Steam Swallow. Who named this card? It's just James. He's just got a regular ass name. Your opponent has a monster on the field. Special summon 1 level 2 or lower fire attribute. Thunder type monster from your graveyard. Your field to face at defense position, then you can set fusion. I mean, this gets weird though, because if we got this, we would then have to also have a Thunder Fire, and then it creates like a load of other stuff going on, right? Steamy Jim to his friends. There we go. Steamy Jim. Steamy Jim. Good old James. Surely more Meek-chan stuff? You say that like there's more Meek-chan stuff to come. I mean, I don't think that even is anything. Like, these are all the mutton cards. Like, these are what we have. It's Wave Shaft and Ultra Beam. And both of these cards are mid. So, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, release them. You could throw them in as, like, ends, just in any box, though. Like, that's not what we're trying to predict here. Animagica Sorcerer for Meek? No! Don't give us Animagica stuff. I'll tell you what, though. We will start looking at some of the other bits and bobs that we could potentially get. So if we come over here, we'll have a look at... I guess... Royal Rebel? Because, like, getting some Royal Rebel stuff would be cool. But I think it would just be Hard Rock, right? It'll be him. It'll be him. I mean, these guys can come out. He's just bad. He can come out. 3 or more Fiend-type monsters in your graveyard. King's Greed. King's Greed is a weird one, though. Guardian was a weird one as well. Opponents face level 7 or higher monster on the field, so then top credit the graveyard. This if you face your monster on the field, these cards leveled by 1. I think that's fine. Break's fine. These don't matter. Echo is cool, but I don't think we need Echo. King's Greed. Which one's King's Greed? King's Greed was the consistency one, right? So lower and the graveyard, or shuffle 3 of change one type position to from your opponent's field to face the defense position. I don't think we're going to get King's Greed, and so by extension, I don't think we're going to get Amp yet. I don't think this matters. I don't know if King's Authority matters either, to be honest. I think Return might be too good. I think a lot of the rest of this is fine, though. I think Hard Rock could come out. No Wave is fine. It's like maybe a little bit stally because it's got 2600 defense. I think we're way past that, though. Blues is fine. It's level 5, but I don't think that matters too much. Grunge is just kind of bad. Guardian is really good, but I think this card wouldn't be like overpowered if it came out now. Break is good. Echo is good, but I don't know if you'd bother playing this when we have skills that basically do this on its own. Great Magical Sheep Girl, Meek-chan Max Wool. I mean, that card doesn't exist yet. That would be impressive. Progressive for the W. I don't think we're going to be getting Progressive. I really don't think. Progressive is so good. And again, Progressive came out and it immediately made Royal Rebels the best deck in the game. Isn't Max Anime exclusive? Yes, it is. Hi, I want to try out the Utopia deck, but I can't activate the effects of my Xyz monsters. Does anybody know why that is? Anyone that plays Utopia in the chat? Can anyone think of a reason why we can't activate Utopia's Xyz effects? I play against Utopia a lot. I don't play the deck myself. Given us an exclusive before, the Infinity Gunman, Numeron Force. Now, you're not wrong, Bunkai, but they haven't done it in Rush. So until they do it for the first time in Rush, we have to treat it like it's not a precedent that's been set. Because it is still a different game, right? We also don't have any cards that have been changed yet, right? Like, so for example, a lot of the burn effects in Speed get halved. We haven't had any of that yet. So like, all of our cards come out and they are pristine. They are exactly as they're meant to be. But Hard Rock's... The only reason I could see not to release Hard Rock is because of this line here. They gave us Rush Duel Links exclusive artwork. That's a start. You're not wrong. They did also change some of those to put them back to being the same as the physical game. Hard Rock has to get an ORR. I mean, it could do. But again, I don't know if this card had come out just because it has a massive burn effect strapped to it. That's the issue I see with it. I could have used the Numeron rank up spell after summoning other Xyz monster. The rank up spell negates the effects of the other face-up cards in the field. That does make sense. That does make sense. Although you'd still be able to use the first one, right? Or whoever ranked up. Oh, apparently we have an ad break as well. Man, we've been streaming for so long already. Alright, we'll just wait for the ad break to go away. And when that's gone, we will go back to talking about this stuff. I think if this card was going to come out, Hard Rock, I think it would be a UR though, right? So... guess we'll slap that in for now. I mean, if we were going to get into the rest of this, No Wave doesn't need to be an SR. Like, this definitely doesn't need to be an SR. Blues. Then a spell trap from your hand to the graveyard for some level 7, 2 much from the graveyard, face a defense position, retap feed. So this is mid. I don't even know if I'd make this an SR. Grunge. 10 more cards in the deck, change this attack position card to face down defense position, inflict 5 damage to your opponent. It's just bad, I think. I think this is just bad. Making Royal Rebel the most expensive deck right now? That's fine. The thing you have to remember is, Royal Rebels were, like, the best deck for a long while. So, like, it's not anything to, like... Making really good decks expensive, I think, is fine. In the same way I think it was fine for, like, Galaxy, in a way, is kind of an expensive deck. As in, like, Galaxy. And Psychic. I think it's kind of fine. Give us back lead actor. It's basically just Matarian Extraplorer. Or Star of the Beginning, Pillage as generic fusion support. So, the issue with everything you've just said is both of those cards are really, really, really good. Pillage would suddenly become a staple in absolutely every deck that could use it. So any deck using fusions and where a skill doesn't lock you is suddenly now a Pillage deck. That is just going to be C play absolutely everywhere. If anything, Pillage would probably be a selection box bait card. That's what I would expect to see from Pillage. And there are still so many other selection box bait cards we don't have yet. I think so too, Tomato, but Reddit complains too much. No more Matarian. It's one of those things where the Matarian fusion deck is really good. Like, when you get all of the new support. So, like, you could make an argument for just lead actor coming out, and that might be fine. That might just be fine. But if you give it like any of the full Mortarion stuff, if you give them the fusion spell, if you give them the trap card, if you give them like anything else, that could spiral into being absolutely insane. I think Guardian, like Royal Rebels Guardian, this could quite easily be a SR card. Like, Guardian's just good. Break. If your opponent has a face at level 8 or higher monster, special summon a level 5 or higher being type normal monster from your hand or your field in face down defense position and face up defense position, increase this card's level by 5. So you summon this, you get a free no wave. So for anyone that doesn't know, no wave is this guy, assuming he's already in the graveyard. Then this guy goes up to level 7. So you immediately have 2 level 7s, you contribute both, and then you could summon out either your Hard Rock or you could summon out your Doom Metal, use the effect, wipe the board, or gain attack and burn your opponent. Zedis monsters won't be negated after being used as Xyz material. Thank you so much. Welcome. I think so too. No more Mortarion. Do people really want more Mortarion stuff? I have PTSD. I'll be happy with lead actor or evil baller. I mean, Evil Baller's another weird one, where I feel like Evil Baller probably won't come out for a while until, like, the rest of it comes out, is what I would expect. Break SR for sure. I don't know if Break would be. Like, maybe. I don't think this would need to be an SR, but I think compared to the rest of the cards, it probably would be, unless we get Echo. But again, I don't know how good Echo's going to be in Duel Links. Echo was fantastic in OCG. But in Duel Links, I don't think this is necessary. Like, we already have skills that do this. I wonder if leading actor is too much still. I mean, there is potential, right? There is potential. Right, let's go ahead and do Break, and let's go... Was it Royal Rebels Echo? King's Return, though. Is this card too good? Send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Okay. Reduce the level of one face-up level 3 or higher monster on your opponent's field by 2. So this means, if your opponent has a big pesky guy that's in the way, and you want to get rid of it, and you can't for whatever reason. So this is primarily going to be like if you've got heavy metal. And then you reduce the opponent's like maximum down to a level 8. And then you can just pop it. Then you can add a level 7 or higher fiend type monster with 0 defense from your graveyard to your hand. So this is where this card like kind of falls apart, because this card is setting up your graveyard. It's outing pretty much anything, because you now made it so that like just heavy metal on its own just outside of anything. And then it just lets you get heavy metal back from the graveyard and put it back in your hand. So I think this card would be too good, personally. But I mean, who even knows, man? We're at the stage where we're summoning out like an 8,000 attack Eternal, like consistently on like turn 2 or 3. So my gut is telling me this would still be too good. But who actually knows if that's true? I think we're going to go with too good at the moment. So the other stuff that we could be looking at is like some of the psychic stuff. The issue is looking at psychic stuff is very difficult because there's a lot of like wind psychic stuff that's going to get mixed in with it. Hello, Tomato. Hello, JD Scrub. Welcome, welcome. But the big ones we don't have yet is these 3. We still don't have these. So we don't have Endless Romance Blitz, which is made using Folder Blitz, which as we all know is kind of bad, and Roman Pick. Shuffle Folder Blitz and Roman Pick from your graveyard into the deck, inflict 1500 damage to your opponent, or draw 3 cards and then send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard. So this is a +1 or a 1500 burn. Katana Fusions, Rovian, and Yuna when. Yeah, it's weird. Like, we should have... Alright, to be fair, it's still a little bit early for Yuna. Like, Yuna at this stage in the anime would still be... Like, we're almost at Celebros, but up to this point, she's just using, like, Yuhi's... Not Yuhi. Using Yuga's deck. So, like, there's not really anything there. So I don't really see a point in releasing Yuna until they're going to give us Celebros. The issue with Celebros is, again, that deck is so powerful, right? You can do so many weird loops with that deck. You can just kill your opponent, like, from, like, 8,000 relatively easily. You're able to, like, spam bodies out and gain, like, a ton of advantage. You just, like, turbo mill the graveyard and then just have everything set up and do everything you want to do. After Go Rush Maximums. Yeah, that's kind of what I see. Like, part of me was like, they could, if they wanted to, if they really want, they could release Rush Rituals in September. Now, I don't think it would be a good idea to. I don't think they should. But Duel Links does get weird with it, right? Like, last year, they gave us Fusions at the same time as Go Rush. Even though, like, theoretically, like, timeline-wise, that's way out of whack, right? So they could do, again, a really weird decision and just drop Rituals. I don't think that's likely. What would make more sense to me is that instead of doing that, they would just give us the Go Rush Maximums. But that's not like a new world. That's not a massive, exciting update. That's not, you know, a whole brand new mechanic being introduced to the game. So because of that, that makes me think that either the September update is going to be something really surprising, like Rituals or something, or like Chronicle World or something. Or it's going to be a little bit disappointing, right? That's kind of how I look at it. But the thing that, like, leads or lends more to that theory is that we were expecting Equips to be this big thing, and then we get a box that had, like, Rovian, and we get the Wind Psychic stuff, and that just didn't happen, right? That we just skipped it. Like, Equips came out with a bit of a whimper, like nothing really, no one cared, realistically. And we didn't get Rovian. So, but they could skip ahead to anything. Zera cards for September. I mean, they could. It would be really weird, but they could. Most rituals suck so far, but agreed with the timeline. Everything's a bit weird. Thank you for following, Drossback. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, it's a weird one. We don't really know. All we can do is kind of speculate. We still have the 20 plus character IDs from DM World leaked a few months ago. Maybe that has to do with September. It definitely could do. But the question is, what is it going to be, right? So one, it could be just a bunch of skins, right? It could be like, now everyone has a different version of themselves, which is like the Soul Burner and Flame thing. Or it could be, because the thing is, it's DM World, right? Like, they weren't like, this is a new world ID. They were for DM, which, like, they could just, like, update the DM world with a bunch of, like, new characters, like, people have been wanting, like, the Orichalcos arc, the Waking the Dragon stuff, all the anime exclusives. And I think people have kind of been hoping that would be its own world, because I think it was, Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything was talking about having, like, the current one is, like, the confirmed manga world, so they could do, like, the Yu-Gi-Oh! DM anime world, right? And then that would then open the door to do, like, GX manga world, and Zexal manga world, right? And get, like, all the different, like, unique manga stuff coming in. But that becomes more difficult until those cards actually get released as cards. Now, we have been seeing that a lot more recently. Like, I think recently there was a set that came out that did have a lot of the GX manga stuff. But who even really knows? Who even really knows? Skins for everyone, yeah. Plus, we get Rush Time Skip World. I mean, I think Rush Time Skip World would be cool. But, like, at what point does that not need to be a world? At what point is that just, again, the Soul Burner skin idea, right? So, you'd have Yuhi, and then you'd have Time Skip Yuhi, which is, like, Yuhi with the school outfit, where he's, like, 2 years old or whatever. And then you just have that as, you know, the skins, or whatever they're called. It's, like, styles or something. Seven's Manga World, and it's just Luke. Nothing but Luke. One character. Dark Matter World? I mean, that would also be weird, right? That'd be really weird. But there's, like, That's what I mean. There's lots of different directions they could go, and it's not easy to just pick one and go like, this is the most likely, right? What we're probably going to end up getting is they're probably going to make a big deal out of the DM stuff, and I would assume, since it's new character IDs, it's going to either be skins for everyone, which I'm not even really sure what skins you would do, right? Like, having, like, Soulburner and Flame kind of makes sense, but, like, we already have Yugi Moto and we have Yami Yugi as separate characters, right? So it's not like we're going to get, like, a flip over for that. And then there's, like, other characters as well. Like, we could get, like, Marek when he's not Yami Marek, I guess, because I don't think we have regular Marek yet as a character. I don't know. I think we're just kind of shooting in the dark there, right? Like, they could also give us something like the Dark Side of, not Dark Side of Dimensions, that's the movie. The Waking the Dragon arc, and give us like Raphael and Valen and all of them. Mind controlled Joey. That's such a weird pull, though, isn't it? First off, it's just going to look like Joey, but with, like, darker eyes. And then, like, what new cards would he come with? What if he played, like, Hinotama and Meteor of Destruction and just, like, random-ass burn cards? And it's like, does that matter? I guess the other cards we're going to talk about briefly are just going to be the other Omega Psychic Fusion. So this is the first Prima one, made using Prima and Amalilith. So the top card of Deck to the Graveyard. This card gains attack equal to the number of monsters in your opponent's field times 1,000, so maximum at 3,000, so you can go up to 5,900. This turn, this card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap card effects, or we just pop a back row. This is the good one. This is the bad one. So made with the same materials, change the battle position of all monsters on your field. Then you can make one face-up monster on your opponent's field lose attack equal to the number of monsters in your field times 800. So you'd have to summon this in defense, use the effect, change it to attack. It would then gain a little bit of attack, up to like 24. Or you can shuffle 7 cards from the graveyard into the deck. Kind of whatever. But we could definitely get Omega Katana, and we could definitely get Romance Blitz. These cards are like good, they're decent. Not a big fan of Princess Omega, if I'm being honest. I mean, that's kind of it. Like, we could just like continue to like spitball. But I think it's very difficult to predict exactly what we're going to get. I think it would be really cool to get more Pyro stuff and to get the baseball stuff. I think it would be really cool to get some Royal Rebel stuff, maybe some Psychic stuff, but I'm not, like, super sure we're going to get a lot of that stuff. So, like, it becomes difficult to keep, like, just randomly predicting. So I think we're going to leave it there for now. And instead, I think what we're going to do... Actually, I suppose we'll do this quickly as well, because I did bring this up, so I want to talk about it. This is... if we once again fix this so we can actually see it. This is the results from the World Championship Qualifier. These are basically like the topping decks, right? So as you can see here, there are 83 Light Galaxy, 17 Dark Galaxy, 8 Chaos Galaxy, 3 Sevens Road, which is kind of low, and 2 Dark Galaxy that aren't Fusion, right? Galaxy killed Rushdall. It's one of those weird times where I actually don't mind this current meta. I actually quite like this meta. I think the meta that we're in now is so much better than pre this meta. Like, don't get me wrong, the fake format meta was pretty cool when we had... I mean, I could bring it up, right? Let me go grab it quick. So if I come over here. Alright. This was cool. I like this. This was fun. Which of them? They are mixing both Light and Dark Galaxy with the same deck? Yes. We're coping for a ban list. But I think this was a cool meta, right? We had E-Heroes doing well, Red Boot, Worm Fusion, Machine Good Stuff, Dark Galaxy, Dragon Fusion, Santa Mill. Maybe not you, maybe not you. But everything else, I was like, these are really cool decks. I thought this was a really fun meta. But this was kind of shit. Like, this was really bad. This wasn't fun. Gaia Matarian wasn't it, Chief. And then even if we go back further, so first off, we like this was going on for weeks and weeks and weeks, right? So we go just further back, further back, further back. Then, when we get out of Gaia Metarian, this was also shit. Like, this was awful. I'm sorry, Dragon Fusion is a horrible deck to play against. Psychic was fine. I like Psychic. Dragon Fusion is toxic, and I hate it. So it's like, we went from, like, kind of shitty meta into shitty meta for quite a long time. And by comparison, I actually think this is so much better. I like this a lot more. Although the games are over pretty quick, and they've, like, power crept absolutely everything else, it's still really fun. Like, all these decks are enjoyable to play. It's maybe not enjoyable to, like, play against, I guess, but, like, it sucks that the Dragon skill is just functionally a floodgate. Like, I know what you're saying, right? And that's what I don't like about it. I don't like the fact the Dragon skill... First off, the fact that the Dragon deck is basically an OTK deck that you kind of have to play into, and that feels really bad. But even if it wasn't an OTK, it's just the fact that you feel like you're not allowed to play the game. Like I say, it's like a pseudo floodgate. It's weird. It's weird. But again, like I say, by comparison, I actually think this is a fun meta. Is this meta perfect? No. No. By no means am I saying that. In my opinion, the best meta we've had in a while was this. This was great. But we only had this for like a week, because it was between ban lists. But this was fantastic. Like, if we could just have this all the time, that would be lovely. But, like, it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. I love fake meta. Fake meta was great. Fake meta was best meta. Look at how cool this wheel is. Look at all the different decks. Like, the highest representation is 24%. Like, it's still maybe a little bit high, but, like, that's still fantastic. This is amazing. But, unfortunately, it doesn't last. But, like I say, compared to all of the other kind of narrow metas we've had, this is my favorite narrow meta. It'll be perfect when tier 0 were rebels. No. Fake meta was genuinely so sick. I wish it was around longer. Yeah. It is a shame. It is a shame. But it is what it is. But yeah, as we've seen, Light Galaxy was without a doubt the most popular. Chaos Galaxy got popular towards the end. I know you can't really see it underneath chat very well, but 8 Chaos Galaxy out of the 113 deck lists here. Obviously, some people are on multiple deck lists. Seven's Road actually had a much smaller share than I was expecting. I was expecting Seven's Road to be about 10 to 12. So the fact it's down to 3 was very telling that cats were not it. Chaos Galaxy, again, probably would have been bigger had it been discovered a little bit earlier, I would think. I like this current format a lot, but yeah, it could use a bit of a touch-up. Yes, the downside with the current meta is it has accelerated the game. And what accelerated the game wasn't even really like the skills or anything. It was just the new cards are just really good. But from this point on, all the cards are going to be really, really good. So any deck we get coming out like from the Go Rush Fusion era or beyond is going to be fantastic. And it's going to be really, really powerful. And it's going to have a lot of combo potential. And it's going to have a lot of OTK potential. And that's just the game, right? Seven's Road is so consistent, but it could just not OTK fast enough versus Galaxy. Exactly, yeah. I mean, as we can see, Light Galaxy was just overwhelming majority, right? Even if we take away the second deck and third deck, if we just look at the deck 1, Light Galaxy was still 81 of the decks. It was 81 Light Galaxy, 12 Dark Galaxy, 4 Seven's Road. So I don't know why this is... How is this messed up? So I know there are 4 Seven's Road in here. Maybe it's something's been written wrong or something. And then Chaos Galaxy was just 3. 3 people played Chaos Galaxy as their primary deck. Seven's Road is so consistent, but it's just not ATK fast enough. To be honest, I think it was better once we get the new cards. I mean, it could be. It could be, 100%. Yeah, next box, I expect the format to round out a bit more. I think the thing is that I would expect a new box to give us decks that are just as strong as the current decks. But I don't think that's going to fix a lot of people's issues with the current format. That being that the game is now way too quick. Now, you could make the argument the game has been unbelievably quick since, like, Metarian came out. right? Arguably, I think Metarian wasn't as consistent, and a lot of the time had to set for a few turns, so it felt a bit more, like, fine. And then I think Gaia was probably the straw that broke the camel's back, and Gaia was like, okay, we can just kill each other on turn 2 now, don't worry about it. And that was just like, oh, we're just doing this now. And so then, like Galaxy comes out, and you're like, oh yeah, we've already been killing people on turn 2, that's fine. Like, nothing to worry about there, completely fine. But it'll be interesting to see what does happen when the new boxes come out. And it will be interesting to see if we do get... Because we know we're getting the Fire Warriors. We know we're getting the Utopia Baseball stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see if that stuff can even remotely compete with the current decks that we have. Because they are really good. They're really good. And me and Yuga created Rush Duels to be fast and simple. Too fast, too simple. Well, I guess the complexity of the game is going up, right? You now actually have, like, combos. You can actually do stuff. It's like... You gotta remember, back when, like, the game first came out, we saw people get top 10 global by going normal summon, tribute to, Yami Ruler effect, change to defense position, pass the turn. That was good enough to get you top 10 global during, like, the first GRF. Now, you have plays like... Alright, normal summon, or even better, right? We're like, oh, normal summon, Prophet, use the effect, take back fusion, summon out Globule, activate fusion, combine both into Protostar effect, I'll grab back Prophet to my hand, summon out Chrysaor, summon Prophet effect, add fusion back to hand, activate fusion, go into Theogonia effect, bring back Chrysaor effect, mill 3, now I can attack you 3 times with this, I can attack you with this, and I can attack you with this. Like, that is just more of a combo, right? The combos just have gotten... more involved, more complex than just, like, tributing out a guy, activating the effect and passing. Bans popping up, that's a slap on the wrist of both Galaxy decks. I reckon they could limit 3 Eve and Prophet to stop you from mixing decks. I think that's sensible, to be honest, Manicust. I think that makes sense. I think usually you wouldn't hit either of those cards. But... in the spirit of trying to get people off of Chaos, I could see them doing that, and then maybe even when they release the other Chaos cards later down the line, unlimit them. Apocalypse to 2 wouldn't be bad either. I kind of like either Apo to 2 or Dark Hole Device to 1. In my mind, they both do the same thing, right? Either way, you're getting people down to 1 Dark Hole Device. Dark Hole Device to 1 would mean that you can't play Limit 1 traps, right? That's the downside of that. But I don't think that, like, getting them off of negate attack, I don't know if that is particularly big or not. Limiting Prophet seems really bad for Dark Galaxy. Well, limit 3ing it, right? If we think about it, like, what are they using right now? If we go to top decks, we'll take a look at some of the world champions, or the potential world champions. Let's go find a Dark Galaxy deck. That's just Dark Galaxy. Wonder how far down we'll have to go before we find a Dark Galaxy list. That's Chaos. That's Chaos. Right, here we go. Here we go. Rank 29. Global rank 29. So the limit 3 is Chrysaor. So that is the big issue, right? What's the other limit 3 they have? It's the piercing level 5? What's it called? Star Trancer? So if we were to limit Dark Prophet to 3, we would probably have to do something about Chrysaor, right? What do you think? Chrysaor to 2? But then it would clash with Dark Hole Device. It's not easy. It's not easy, right? I think it does make sense to try and hit the decks in a way to stop you from playing both. The issue is, I don't know how you do that. Because you'd either have to, like, unlimit Chrysaor, which then opens up, like, Chrysaor Turbo to being, like, a really annoying deck. Because then, like, I think if you could play, like, triple Trancer, triple Chrysaor, people are going to try and make it work, right? Cry to 2, Device to 1. I mean, you could do. That is a very heavy hit, though, to Dark Galaxy. When Light Galaxy probably needs, like, a heavier hit. Unlimit Cry? No, I don't think you can unlimit Cry. Cry, I think people really underestimate how good Cry is. Like, Cryseal Turbo did get a couple of tops, top 100. You have to remember that. Like, the deck is still good, and if we make it even stronger, you're just going to have, like, 2 Dark Galaxy decks running around. And then you get the annoyance of, like, you work out your opponent's playing Dark Galaxy, because you'll see, like, Zuijo with his Zuijo skill. And now you have to, like, 50-50, whether it's the really good cheesy OTK deck, or the really good cheesy OTK deck. Give Light Galaxy a limit 2? Well, that then becomes the other question. What would you limit to in this? I think Plora is actually a really annoying card. The issue is, no matter what we hit, it makes it really annoying, right? Light Galaxy is easy. Limit 3 ship, limit 2 Eve. So we'd be taking out Order. The issue with limiting 2 Eve is it becomes quite annoying. Because you really want, like, Eve is like a really key combo piece for the deck, and in the mirror, whoever gets like an Eve off first, and like if you can get an Eve effect off and then fuse off a second Eve on like turn 1 or 2, you have basically winning the game, right? That does so much in terms of tempo for filling up the graveyard. It lets you dig to find the Oblivion to activate the skill. Like, Eve is like so integral to the deck working, which I guess maybe is a reason to hit it. Giving Elgao element 3 takes out Order. Taking out Order, I think, is fine. You can already just make Order with the skill, so I don't think you need to run it in the deck. I don't think they're hitting a new SR to 2. I also don't think so, Dwan. I think they're unlikely to hit any of the new cards, if we're honest, unless it's like a desperate situation. Also, hello, Dwan. Hello, hello. I don't know if I like Extraplora to 2 either. Because for the same reason, like, it really hurts what the deck's trying to do. Eve to 2 would stop Chaos Galaxy? I think it would. My question is, at what cost? Because, alright, I think the thing to remember is, we've already opened Pandora's box, right? The meta is now at an accelerated place, right? The meta has gone kind of nuts, right? We're already at that stage. So we're not going to nerf these decks enough that it's going to make decks that aren't these decks good, right? It's just not. Like, Heroes, get out of here, right? Red Boot, I'm sorry, your time has already passed. Worms, we would have to absolutely butcher these decks to make any of those other decks realistically come back into the meta in a big way. This is like a wipe the slate clean. This is the new meta, and now any new decks that come out have to try and match the power level of these decks. So I don't think we're going to hurt these decks in a way that, like, destroys them or weakens them like a massive amount. In my mind, Konami wants Light Galaxy, Dark Galaxy, Spellcasters. They probably want all 3 of these decks being played at Worlds. And they're going to want 2 other decks that are just as flashy and just as cool to also be at Worlds. That's kind of how I'm, like, foreseeing this. And I don't think they want to, like, absolutely neuter all of these decks going into Worlds. Maybe to 3, not to 2. Yeah, I think I could see either Eve or Plora going to 3. But again, it's still very new. Like, they're both very new cards. So I don't even know if that's super likely. Secret Order to 2 also helps out Noodles if they are coming. I mean, could do. I don't know if Konami gives a shit about Noodles, though. To be honest, I think we don't need to hit anything. Hot take. Personally, I would like to see Light Galaxy get a very small hit, like a limit 3 on just something, and then that would be it. But I do think Chaos Galaxy is an issue. So, like, I would like to see the Chaos variant hit, personally. And this is as someone who plays Chaos Galaxy, right? I was one of the first people taking this to tournaments, right? I'm the only person to top a tournament with Chaos Galaxy. And I am saying this deck is a problem. Not even necessarily because it's, like, too good. Just because, like, when everything works, it's nutty, right? Because you basically get the best of both worlds. You get all the cool shit like Galaxy gets to do, Oh, but by the way, you also get Dark Hole Device as well. Lamau. I can see Secret Order 2, Secret Order 2, Plora Order 3 could be okay. I mean, could be. Again, that still means that this is still a deck, though. And I do think hitting Chaos Galaxy would be good. I just don't see a satisfying way to do it. I think I would still like to see Apo go down to 2. I think Apo to 2 works really well, because then you play 1 Dark Hole Device, 1 Apo. But again, without giving Chaos, or without giving Light Galaxy a limit 2 as well, you can still just play Chaos, and it'll still be fine. I think if those hits come with Apocalypse to 2, it's fine. I mean, yeah. I mean, to be honest, if you hit Chaos Galaxy, Dark Galaxy will suffer. Well, that's what I mean. If you just make... If you make Apocalypse limit 2... Well, you don't even need to make Apocalypse limit 2. If you just give Light Galaxy a limit 2 somewhere, then you just make it so you can't play them together, right? Just that's it. It's done. The issue is, you don't really want to limit 2 any of these cards. I don't want to limit 2 Eve. I don't want to limit 2 Plora. But it would have to be one of those 2 cards. We're not limit 2ing anything else in here, are we? And again, like Dwan was saying, it's still very early. It's still very, very early. I don't think we'd be hitting most of these cards anyway. I think even limit 3 might be too much. As in terms of it's too soon, they don't want to do it yet. Thank you for following, Desty. If you only hit the parts of Dark Galaxy that focus around Dark Hole Device, the deck is still very potent. Win cons. Yes, but I think one of the strengths of Dark Galaxy at the moment is that you can pivot, right? You can say, okay, I'm going for my Dark Hole Device Apocalypse play, but if I don't get it off, I can then fall back on a Protostar Theogonia Chrysaor play, right? If you take one of those out of the deck, now you're going all in on one strategy or the other. Apo to 2 will suck, as Dark Galaxy will become super sacky. The thing is, Dark Galaxy is already super sacky. So what we're now saying is, we're going to take a super sacky deck that is already known for being extremely sacky, and we're going to make it sack you a bit less. So it's not going to turn from, oh god, I got sacked again, they should have banned this card. It will be more like, well now, less often, I'm being killed by the sack deck, right? Apocalypse and Extra Plora to 3. I think that would be okay, but then you still have to hit Dark Hole Device. I think Dark Hole Device is the only card in the game right now that is actually overpowered as shit. Because, like, you could get away with just playing 1 Apo, right? So 1 Apo, 0 Secret Order, you just cut them. You don't need them, realistically. And a lot of Chaos lists aren't even playing them. And then you just play 2 Extra Plora, and your deck works basically the same. Apo to 2 makes it feel like if you survive the Apo Dark Hole Device turn, there's actually a game to be played. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. That's what I mean. It's not easy. There's always going to be a knock-on effect, right? You come up with one way, and like on paper, your initial reaction is, oh, that fixes a lot of these problems. And then like you go, oh, but then this other thing gets affected, and now that doesn't work quite so well. And it's not an easy one. It's not an easy problem to solve. It's like this list isn't like, let's say we did Apo and Extra Plora to 3, right? So all we would do with this list is take out 1 Extra Plora. I mean, we take out 1 Apocalypse as well, I guess. But, like, fundamentally, the deck is untouched, right? Thinking about it, Dark Hole Device 1 to 1 would be good. Apo is still Appaloosa in my head. I mean, that is fine, Shari. I mean, Appaloosa has terrorized us many, many a time. I actually kind of miss Appaloosa, because obviously I play, like, off-meta decks. So therefore, like... do you only play rush duels? No, Destiny. We also do play speed. We are... I mean, it's getting late. We are planning to play speed at some point. If we'll just click it here. I can prove that we play speed. Look, we have maxed in dual level. We are maxed dual level. We do play speed. We're not using that deck though. We are a... We'll get to it in a sec. We are a dino player. We play dinosaurs. This is our deck. But we are primarily speed. We do also have the YouTube channel. So if I do !YT, that's our YouTube channel. And we make purely rush content over on the YouTube. So we are primarily rush. I will say that. Classic soon. As soon as you hear Apo, you would all think Appaloosa, yeah. He's got into... He has gotten into speed as well. I'm trying to, but I'm at dual level 8. So, fundamentally, the way I kind of look at the WCQ at the moment is you just pick a deck that is good enough. It doesn't have to be like a top tier deck, but just one that's good enough and that you know how to play and can kind of play around Utopia or Heroes, because they're the decks you're going to run into the most. It's not easy. I'm not going to say it's going to be like super easy, but even my Rush account, where all I have is a Fluffle deck, that is already at dual level 17. So like we're getting there with it. Dino Go Burr. Dino Go Burr. Dino Go Burr's best deck. Ban Meteor Lava? Hear me out. No, not Meteor Lava. Meteor Lava's cool. He didn't do anything wrong. As long as it can deal with Yumas, then you're going to be okay. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Like, my run up to max was just Yuma. It was just like Utopia. And it turns out, dinosaurs are quite good into that. So I had quite an easy time. Because in the lower ranks, it's still mainly Hero. And then afterwards, 16 to 18, it will be Yumas. Exactly. We should also give a shout out to Hal. Hal... Genesis. There we go. There's our shout out to Hal. We did it wrong. How did we spell it wrong? What did we do? How did I misspell you? There we go. We got it the second time. Second time good. A 19 to max is going to be Shadow if they are still around. For me, we ran into one Shadow player. No, we did 3 Shadows total during the climb. Only one was on our last stream, and he went Winder turn 1, and then we lost. Because we did not have a good enough hand to play through it. Turns out, Misk is a broken card. Misk is fine. I don't know what you're talking about. The funny thing is, right, from the dinosaur player perspective, it's like, if you don't resolve Misk, you're not playing the game. Like, you're just not. If Misk doesn't resolve... Every time you try and do anything, it's going to get stopped, and you're just realistically not doing anything at all. On the flip side, there are also a bunch of other cards that just kill you through Misk. Now, don't get me wrong. They're somewhat few and far between. A lot of the time, it's like you just go battle phase, Misk's effect falls off, your opponent does a thing, and you get screwed. Or, like, you make your end board, and half of it isn't dinosaurs. Sometimes 3 cards aren't dinosaurs, and then you get nibbed. And it's like... Because Misk only protects your dinos, and a lot of your board is not going to be dinos. Or, like, you'll go into your Linkaribo, and then your opponent will, like, get rid of your Linkaribo. They'll activate, like, a Compulse or something. And your Linkaribo's gone. And now you're like, well, now I can't keep comboing, because my combo piece is gone. Like, the deck is actually surprisingly fragile. But, against decks that don't have those specific outs, the deck is extraordinarily strong. And my main win con is opponents not reading. So it's like I'll activate Misk. I'll go like activate Misk second effect, summon out like Arch, and my opponent will be like Veiler, and I'll be like, I mean, that doesn't do anything, my friend. I gotta go do something. Well, thanks for stopping by, Destiny. Misk is vital for dinos now at this rate. I mean, basically, yeah, right. We're getting to the stage where a lot of the best decks do so much shit And they put up like so many negates or interruptions. And it's... Obviously, I think everyone would like to have a Misk in their deck. Like a Misk for their archetype. But I think the only decks that should get like a Misk type effect are decks that are very, very fragile without it. Have you read Misk Meme Lives On? I don't think I have, actually, Gosamigo. Also, hello, Gosamigo. Welcome. Yeah, dinos are much weaker without Misk. Kind of makes sense why Misk is so important to the deck. Yeah, I mean, without Misk, I don't think you could literally... Like, you have to just pray your opponent has nothing to stop you, right? Already, we're seeing, like, Crow is really rough for dinos. Skullmeister can be really bad for dinos. Droplet absolutely shuts down dinos. Sphere Mode and Lava Golem are really, really bad for dinos. There's like so much shit that just absolutely donks on dinos anyway, let alone if we didn't have Misk, right? But yeah, the when it comes to like hitting cards, I don't think it's super easy. I don't think there is like an obvious go-to. It's difficult. Agreed, something like Misk in other decks that need the extra support / protection would be nice to see. Yeah, exactly. Is that Cyclone Valley in the chat? Hello, hello. Ban Dark Hole. I mean, are you talking about Speed Dark Hole or Dark Hole Device, Karma? Because I know Dark Hole does see some play in Speed. Usually not in meta decks, but it does see some play in Speed. But yeah, Dark Hole Device is actually disgusting. Like, it's so ludicrous. And just think, eventually, we will have Dark Hole in Rush Duels. We will just have regular Dark Hole in Rush Duels at some point. Which is crazy to think about. Yeah, I love Dark Hole and Rush. So we have Dark Hole Device. So just so you can read it a bit better. So this is here at the moment. This card becomes Dark Hole while in the graveyard. We have another card that allows you to take back Dark Hole from the graveyard back to your hand, as well as make itself immune to destruction effects, so you can Dark Hole over it. Send 3 Dark Attribute Galaxy type monsters from your hand to the graveyard, or just have a Dark Galaxy Fusion monster. So you just summon out the guy, put this back in your hand, immediately drop it, wipe the board, your guy gets to stick around. And then you also get to add a Galaxy monster from your graveyard back to your hand, so you can then summon that. And then let's say you take back Pale Rider, you've now got a 32 and a 16 just on the board after you've wiped your opponent's board, which is kind of nutty. What do you think the next bundles are going to be for us? Oh, that is actually really hard to predict. So we got what? Hammer Crush and Compulse are like the latest ones that we got. Compulse still seems too early in a lot of ways. Hammer Crush is a weird one. Like, we have seen some experimentation, but like nothing too crazy. It's really difficult to come up with Rush bundles. Because, like, bundles for Rush have either just been Legends, which a lot of them have been kind of mid, and it's hard to come up with, like, really good Legends outside of really broken ones, like, you know, Dark Hole, Magic Cylinder, Mirror Force, Drowning Mirror Force. A lot of the other Legends that aren't those are kind of bad. Like, obviously, Graceful Charity is good as well. There are some, like, really good Legends. But then, like, the other ones are just, like, good traps, and it's really hard to predict what good traps they could give us. Because, like, if they gave us Shady, for example, that would be busted. Shady is so nuts. Yeah, seeing play due to if you are able to out the counter trap again, Yuma and the deck. Trap again, Yuma, and then use Dark Hole. It makes those 4 to 5 negates worthless. I mean, there you go. That sounds pretty useful. Maybe a Warrior one for baseball. The thing is, there isn't really a good, like, Warrior Legend. And there isn't really a good Warrior Trap. Take a look at Legends quick. So Legend, not released. That would be funny, actually. Give us Guilford the Lightning. I mean, Freed is a bit awkward because it's light support. Prisma we ain't getting yet. Prisma would be busted. But, like, Guilford the Lightning could come out. It'd be an interesting one. The only thing is, I don't think it would see much play. And it's light, so it probably won't work with the skills. Just kill every deck and let Utopia be the best deck. I don't think that's going to happen, Valley, you know. Unless we're talking about Speed, in which case I also don't think that's going to happen. They need to make money, though, Cyclone. exactly. I mean, to be fair to Cyclone, if they did kill the current decks, people have already bought those decks. So if you then had to go into the new box to buy the new good deck, you'd make money, right? Oh yeah, there aren't a lot of options, man. Exactly. Baseball's best deck would be peak. I mean, it would be cool, right? Where's the boys? Some home run hitter action. Get some home plate pinch hitter. Yeah, I think it would be cool. It's just not, it's not easy. It's not easy to just like... Time to Phantasm Spiral Dragon. You really want Phantasm Spiral? I mean, we could totally do it. Where is he? Phantasm Spiral, I actually think is not bad. You know, right, think about it like this, right? You can summon this off of Build Dragon, right? So, assuming your graveyard is set up, right? You go normal summon, tribute 2, summon out Gantry, right? So, Gantry's effect, summon Build Dragon. Build Dragon's effect summons Phantasm Spiral Dragon. So, for the cost of 3 cards from your hand, bearing in mind you can make that cheaper because you have like card that can be used as 2 tributes. So, for maybe 2 cards from your hand, you could summon a board of 2 29s and a 34, which is actually really good. So like the only issue is it's a legend. There's no way to like search it, so you know, because you're going to want to use an actual skill. You're not going to use like legend draw. But outside of that, because again there's a lot of like really powerful legends in this game. It's just like which ones would they actually want to give us? Give us Bazoo the Soul Eater. Everyone likes Bazoo. Beasts need some love. They could give us Golden Flying Fish, although there's no real point, we don't have any fish yet. Yeah, I mean, there's some really nutty legends. Do Mirage Dragon. Mirage Dragon, though, it just turns off all the back row. Like that's like just give us Jinzo. One card we haven't got yet is Upstart Goblin. And obviously, there's no reason to give us Upstart unless they give us the Dinosaur Fusions. But again, we're at the point where Dinosaur Fusions would be so weak. Like, if we got Dinosaur Fusions, like, with Fusions release, it actually could have been a good deck. Turbo Jinzo. So, Jinzo is actually an archetype in Rush. Get rid of that. So, there's Jinzo Amplified, Jinzo the Machine Menace, regular Jinzo, Jinzo Returner, and Jinzo 7.7, as well as Accelerator. This is like an actual deck. That is all about like getting boosted for the number of traps, turning off traps, destroying traps, special summoning Jinzo, all that jazz. Give us the full Jinzo archetype. Again, do you want that? Like in the game where we have 6,000 life points and skills turbo through absolutely everything, you want the deck that makes all interaction go away. Is that what you're telling me? Dino Fusions would be cool. The thing is, again, I don't think we'd get a skill for the Dino Fusions. So I think they would come out, do absolutely nothing, and we'd be like, okay, neat. Sort of like the Dinosaur Maximum, which did nothing. Got dogwooded? Oh no. Welcome on in, Ray Theon Fanatic. It's the same with speed, pretty much. It's the same stuff. I mean, yeah. Jinzo's a level 7 rush. So this is Jinzo the Machine Menace. Regular Jinzo is a 6. And then there's Jinzo Amplified. So this card's name becomes Jinzo while it's in the graveyard. So then top card into the graveyard. This card cannot be destroyed by trap card effects. Then you can make this card gain attack equal to the number of machine-type monsters in your graveyard times 100. So it just kind of gains attack. This one is if a player has a trap card in their graveyard, so you or your opponent, you can special summon this card from your hand, face up. So it's just no tributes. Send this face-up card from your field to the graveyard to special summon a Jinzo from your graveyard, which again could be a Jinzo or a Jinzo Amplified, because it's treated as Jinzo while it's in the graveyard. Then you can look at all face-down cards your opponent's spell and trap zones and destroy all trap cards. Dino Fusion is like Cyburst Fusion. I would make the argument, though, that the Cyburst Fusion cards are somewhat playable. The Dinosaur Fusion monsters are just kind of shit. So it's like... yeah, they didn't archive skill to do anything because we're never getting that character. Exactly. That's broken? Yeah, I mean, the Jinzo stuff is nuts, right? And then obviously you've got like Jinzo Returner, which is just send itself from the field to the graveyard, just special summon the Jinzo, because it can't act like the Jinzo Returner from TCG, because we don't have triggered effects, so it has to be an activated effect, because everything in Rush is an activated or continuous effect, right? Ancient Gear on crack. I mean, that's the thing, right? You can just combine Ancient Gear with it, because that's the other thing. Obviously, Ancient Gear, if there's loads, is a deck, and it's actually a pretty good deck in Rush. Obviously, this is not all the cards, but like Ancient Gear Tyranno is awesome. I love this. Is one of my favorite cards in Rush. First off, this art, it goes so hard. Like he's a bit of a chunky boy, but like he looks awesome. If you have a face-up Earth attribute machine monster with a continuous effect on your field, so bearing in mind pretty much every Ancient Gear card has the continuous effect of your opponent can activate trap cards when it declares an attack. So it basically, do you have an Ancient Gear on the field? You can summon this card for 1 less tribute, which is great, because summoning this for 1 tribute is really, really good. But then, there's another card, which is a field spell, which says if you have an Earth machine monster that has the same attack and defense, you can summon it for 1 less tribute, which means you could summon out this card for no tributes, which is really cool. And then obviously turns off your opponent's back row, which is still really good. Summon Skull deck or the Ancient Gear deck would be cool, yeah. I would love it. I just think it's too... I mean, to be fair, if you don't get the piercing guy, it doesn't really matter. Because Ancient Gears without, what's he even called? Kuma something? We can go look him up, right? It's like Kuma, this guy. Without Kuma Mimi, the Ancient Gear deck's kind of mid. But if they gave us Kuma Mimi, the deck becomes busted, right? So for anyone that can't see, because it's behind chat, continuous effect, face up Earth attribute machine type monsters on your field gain 500 attack, and they inflict piercing damage. So you just get this guy out, including himself, he gets an extra 500 attack, so he becomes a 19. Your other 2 monsters also get a boost of 500, and then all 3 of them will inflict piercing damage. Which is like so insane for Rush. But like, if you don't release this guy, I don't think Ancient Gear would be too impressive, because you only really have Golem to beat set 3. So you'd make a decent board quite easily, and then you do like nothing with it. Surely they will just increase the Rush Duel Links life cap to 8,000? I mean, they could. I don't know if they would, right? Because it's like, it's not... It's really difficult, first off, for them to be like, alright, 6,000 was a mistake, we need to increase this. Second, they like the games being quick. Like, that's part of their, like, design strategy, is we want the games to be done really quick, therefore OTKs are, like, kind of fine. Like, I personally would like to see the life quits go up. Do I think it's going to happen? No, realistically. If they do that, then speed would have increased to 6,000. I think the thing is, in speed right now, because of how speed works, there is generally a decent amount of interaction, right? Speed, in my opinion, right now, feels a bit like TCG Lite. In that, you play the same loop, right? I go first. I build board. You may have hand traps to try and stop me. Your turn. You try and break my board, at which point I will interact with you and try and stop you from breaking my board. Then once the interaction has concluded, either you've broken my board and you'll probably OTK me, or you've broken my board, it's taken so many resources, you can't OTK me. Or you haven't broken my board and I'm just going to kill you on the next turn, etc, right? So, but there is interaction happening. In Rush right now, a lot of the time it feels like there's like non-interaction. Like I set my board and then I pass and then I hope you don't kill me. And the only way I can really interact is by using like my 1 legend trap, and that's kind of it. So like it's awkward. The only way we can see more interaction is if we increase the number of cards that allow interaction and make it so we're not just killing each other in 1 turn, right? So that means give us more traps, increase life total, maybe make skills that don't accelerate the game to like a ridiculous degree. Like, these are all different things that added together end in the game being what it is right now. So the other question you have to ask is, does Konami see that as a problem? Does it matter that the games are quick? Like, we might not think it's ideal, but I don't... hate it enough that I'm going to quit the game. Like, I'm still quite happy to play in the current meta, right? That's fine for me. I will say, I think this could be better. And one of the ways it could be better is by making the games longer. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Konami is going to do that, right? Konami, please keep giving us better traps. I think that's the other thing as well, where people tend to latch on to one thing that they think would make the game take longer. And I guess, I keep saying make the game take longer, but like, really it all means the same thing. The game takes longer, I want more interaction, I don't want to get OTK'd. These are fundamentally the same thing, just like different viewpoints of like saying it. Fundamentally, they're all the same goal, right? And what I think people do is they go, if we increase the life points, that sorts the problem out. It's like, yes, it kind of does. It doesn't necessarily. And people go like, oh, if we get more trap cards, that solves the problem. It's like, again, it kind of does. It doesn't necessarily. And people go like, oh, if we get weaker skills, if our skills aren't as busted, if we nerf all the skills, that solves the problem. And I'm like, again, it kind of does. It doesn't necessarily. So it's like, there's lots of different problems. Again, I don't even really use problem. There's lots of different like symptoms of the current meta. And it's not easy to just like point at one and go, that's the issue. If we fix that, everything's good now. Like, it's such a complicated, like entangled web of design. And every time you change one thing, everything else has like a ripple effect. Shadow does make that sense very difficult due to if you are going first with Shadow, you're already heavily in your favor because Winder is very OP in this format, where SP has become more spamming. Yeah, I mean, Floodgates is a whole other thing though, right? Floodgates that are difficult to out is always going to be a massive issue. Like, I had an issue when I played Master Duel quite a lot. Back then, we had... we also just got hit by the ads, which is awful timing. But back then I would play into like Imperial Order and Skill Drain. And if your opponent flips over both Imperial Order and Skill Drain, what are you supposed to do? What is the out? If you don't immediately have like an MST or a Cyclone or a Twin Twisters ready to go, you just eat that. And then that's just it. Just get screwed. More traps, life increase, some of the continuous effects, etc. It needs multiple things to really improve. The thing is, any one thing could improve the game. The issue is we don't know which one it would be, or if it would have to be a combination of all three, right? It's less about me trying to like shoot down what people are saying, and more like just trying to keep the conversation open as like... It's a very difficult problem to solve, right? This is prime time to release Monarch support, Konami. Well, we are getting a new Monarch structure deck in Rush, right? For OCG. Yeah, I like having access to more varied interaction. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it as well. All right, we've got 15 seconds till the ad break is over, so we'll just wait for that, and then I'll get back to like reading and responding to people. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, the ad should be gone now. Is the game too fast in Duel Links and the skills too compensating that good traps aren't needed? Like, we have options now and we're running one trap in most decks. I think, though, that is because the traps aren't worth it, right? If we could run 3 compulsory evacuation device, you would run 3 compulsory evacuation device, right? The problem we have is that not many traps are very good into Light Galaxy specifically. If there were more traps that were more useful into that deck, they would see play. It's like if Slime stopped level 9s, it would immediately be in every single deck, right? New structure. Yeah, so with the Monarch, we're getting a Monarch structure in OCG, not in Duel Links. I'm September with OCG Monarch structure deck timing. There we go. It won't solve the format on its own. It's a layered issue. Exactly. The future for Duel Links will make games quicker because of the newer cards coming out plus skills. Yeah, power creep is just a thing. Power creep is just a thing, right? As well as feature creep. 20,000 life points, 3 shiny shadies, and a partridge in a pear tree. That fixes everything quickly. Why stop at 3 shiny shady? Let's go to like 8 shiny shady. Let's just Let's never play the game. We'll just flip each other's shit face down all the time and see what happens. Master Duel is already fast-paced, and that's Duel Links' future. I mean, like I say, it's kind of already at that. Like, a lot of the time, I feel like games in Duel Links are ending on turn 3. Like, it's not that rare that that happens, right? Yeah, Execute Riding is good, but it has a bad matchup into the best deck rank. Yeah, that's the issue. It feels like you're on a sinking ship, and you have, like, a mug, and you're trying to, like, scoop the water out, but you're doing such a small amount of water every time that you're not really making a dent. And it feels exactly the same thing, where, like, you go, oh, my opponent summoned out like a 9,500 attack guy. I'm going to reduce its attack by 1,000. And then you're like, that's not enough. that just ain't going to cut it. What deck in structure? So we know we're getting Caius. We know we're getting Caius in OCG. That's the only card that they've, like, spoiled for us. For speed, the main trap being used right now is the Xyz counter trap that Yuma uses. Yeah, Xyz block, I think it's called. The final battle being used in Subterra, rush, negate, attack is still very common to see, plus compulse. Yeah, that's just the thing, right? It's the quality of the traps. If we had better quality traps, we would see them play, right? We don't. So we don't. That's fundamentally what it comes down to. And it's not easy, right? Because, like, we have a lot of trap cards, but, like, we don't have that many that interact very well with, like, an 8,000 piercing guy. That's the fundamental issue we have, right? Give us Dark Revelation, Shiny Shady, Mirror Force, etc., and see how many traps will be used. Seven's Road, let's see how many I could fit into it. The thing is, Shiny Shady is a really weird trap, in that if you gave it to us now, that card would probably see play for so long. Like, it would take such a ridiculous amount of time for people to be like, I don't need this card anymore. Rice Terrace is, like, okay into Light Galaxy, but it's still just kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, we did see some people play it, and it's been okay. But then, like, I think Rice is probably the next best trap in the game right now. But the issue is, a lot of the decks could just play around it. Like, how does, like, how does Light Galaxy play into Terrace? Like, it's literally, it's Secret Order, and that's it. Like, to be fair, you could use Black Tiara Fuse Eve as well. So there are two ways to do it. But you can play around it, I guess, is the point. That one feels, if we ever get it, like a soft Limit 1 bundle. Yeah, I would expect that as well. Maybe even just a hard Limit 1, like, to be honest. Shady is Secret Order and Fuse Eve, yeah. So, like, there is stuff you can do there, but it's like, it's not easy. And don't forget as well, there are still so many trap cards that we don't have that are, like, type specific. Funnily enough, do you know a card that would actually be pretty good? What's the card called? I mean, that's not bad, actually, to be fair, but it's the machine one. I forget what it's called. This one. Battle Demotion. Not actually that bad, right? So when your opponent's monster declares an attack on your face-up machine type monster, so they have to declare an attack on a face-up machine. That's kind of like the weird part of this. But we can change one attack position monster on your opponent's field to defense position. So, like, don't get me wrong, this wouldn't, like, auto hard counter Light Galaxy, right? But if your opponent doesn't have Plasma, or if they go Plasma but they miss this, this would theoretically just keep you alive through Eternal. Which is actually pretty good. But the issue is there are so many traps like this that we don't have. And this trap card, by the way, is so old. This came out in, like, set 6 or something? In 7s? So, like, this is a really, really, really old trap card. But there are so many type-specific traps like this that we just don't have. Like, the best we have is we have, like, the minus 500 traps. Which are, like, so mid. But the reason, obviously, we don't have cards like this is because they're type-specific. And Konami were like, oh, well, you know, when we had Mirror Innovator as like the best deck in the game, they're like, well, we don't want to give Mirror Innovator a really good trap card and no one else gets it. You want Bruku Hearted Pigeon? Bruku Hearted is also another really good one. So this one is arguably a lot better because this is a normal or special summon, right? Now the issue is it's only level 5 or higher, but that's kind of fine. What else are you going to be using this on? Well, you have a face-up Wing Beast type monster, so you have to have a face-up Wing Beast, but that shouldn't be too difficult, right? If you're playing a Wing Beast deck. Change one attack position monster in your opponent's field to face its defense position, burn your opponent for 500. But just on summon, change a guy to defense. Again, your opponent goes Eternal. You go to defense mode, please. And then they go, oh, I am now sad. So this card was seeing a lot of play in Harpies, obviously, because why wouldn't Harpies be playing this? They're a Wing Beast deck. But that was a long time ago. I think they have their own better traps now, so we wouldn't use that now. Rise of Harpies and Trap Pigeon. I mean, definitely could. But, yeah, I don't know. Like I say, it's a difficult problem to solve. It's not an easy one. And at the same time, it's like we were saying, does Konami even want to solve it, right? If it's not on Konami's radar as a problem, does it matter? The downside is that, as we've already spoken about before, we have started seeing a lot of the Japanese players saying that they are dissatisfied with this meta, right? And I think when the JP bros are upset, which, by the way, I just want to say, that is not something that happens often. The JP bros don't usually get upset with the game. They usually just kind of let it roll off their back sort of thing. But when the JP bros are genuinely upset, I think maybe the Japanese, you know, the Konami branch that is Japanese, which is, I guess, the main Konami branch, might actually pay attention. I don't know if they're actually going to give a shit, but they might, right? I think we also did start to see a bit of a fall off in terms of like rush players during the WCQ. So that could also speak volumes as well. Yeah, when JP bros are angry, changes will surely come soon. I mean, it's one of those things where I am almost certain that when the Western community doesn't like something, Konami ain't going to give a shit. They don't care. We are an afterthought. We are, oh yeah, those other guys, I hope they're having a good time. You guys have fun, right? I think when it comes to JP, they might have a similar mindset where they're like, oh, the players don't know what they're talking about. Or they might actually care, right? I'm not really sure one way or another. But like I say, I've enjoyed this format. I think this format is still pretty fun. I'm still enjoying it. And we'll have to see what actually comes in the future. Now, it is half an hour before I'd usually end, but when we've only got 30 minutes left, I don't really think it's worth it to start playing some games, because I'll de-rust, we'll like get into the groove, and then the stream will end. So I don't really see a point, unfortunately. We also will not be playing, or we will not be streaming on Sunday, because I will be going to a Magic the Gathering pre-release. We're going to be doing that. We're going to have to go outside and speak to people and play card games with people in real life. And it's going to be weird, but it's going to be a good time because it's Final Fantasy stuff. And I like Magic the Gathering. I like Final Fantasy. I like nerdy shops. It's going to be a good time. So we won't be streaming because of that, but also there'll probably be hundreds of people streaming their second stage speed goings on, right? There'll probably be so many like going absolutely nuts with it. So that would be cool to see. Nerd. I mean, when in Rome. But yeah, so we'll be back on Tuesday. We'll be back again on Tuesday. I'm not sure what we'll be doing. We might be climbing Cog on speed. We might just be doing that. I don't know if that will be too early for us to have, like, ban list out. It probably will be. But maybe we can speculate more or whatever. But we'll probably be doing that. Which FFMTG card are you most hyped for? For me, it's probably Sephiroth. We still got half an hour. So like, I could just sit here and yap for a little bit longer. That's completely fine. If I go to... Yeah, I can show you the card I'm most looking forward to. So we'll hop back over to here quick as this loads up. So a lot of the cards I'm actually looking forward to are black cards. So the one that I'm actually most looking forward to is this one, which is Sephiroth. I guess we'll... This guy. So it's a 3-drop 3/3. When it enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. If the 4th time this happened in this turn, you get to flip the card over, and he becomes One-Winged Angel, which is a 5/5 flyer. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth, One-Winged Angel, you get an emblem, which is whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures, and if you do, draw that many cards. This is what I'm looking for the most. Like, I absolutely love this shit. Definitely the best. The mono black one, I assume. Yeah. I mean, there's like the full art one as well, which should be down somewhere. Is it like underneath all of this stuff? There we go. Here's the full arts. Like, this card looks beautiful, by the way. This is the front, and this is the back. And just the full art version looks so nice. Like, I'm not going to get this card, because if I was to buy this as a single, because it's full art and from a collector's booster, this is going to cost probably like 80 quid or something. Like, it's going to be a ridiculous amount of money. But, like, this card looks so nice, man. But yeah, that's what I am looking forward to the most. I mean, there's also, like, a bunch of other cards I really want. A lot of the cards I really like are mono black. I think Xenos Yay Galvus looks really, really good. I do think that Arden the Usurper, really, really good. They did well with the art. Yeah, I mean, just in general, a lot of Magic the Gathering art does look really nice. Obviously, it kind of lacks that kind of anime kind of appeal, but a lot of the FF10 cards do kind of look anime, and they almost look a bit out of place. But yeah, I do really like a lot of these cards. But yeah, I'll be playing this on Sunday. That is the plan. We'll be playing in a pre-release event. We'll see how well we do. Hopefully, we don't get absolutely destroyed. That is the hope. But that is going to do it. Again, back on Tuesday, probably playing dinosaurs, because I love dinosaurs. And dinosaurs are cool. And I also want to play dinosaurs in Magic the Gathering, but it's expensive. Thank you for the luck. Thank you all for hanging out. It's been fun. And I'll see you all in a bit. Goodbye.